righty. I think we're on. Oh,
we're on.
So anyway,
we're on both. Yeah. We're on both channels, by the way. We're on Mike's channel and we're on my channel, and you're welcome to join on either channel.
And James jumped the gun and did the whole topic before we could even get to it. But
undercutting you, gosh.
This whole thing about morality. So I wonder, a problem with what the fuck is this? Arcadiode? Arcadiode quit unexpectedly. What is Arcadiode?
What are you talking about?
No,
I don't know. I just got this big bulletin on my computer that an app named Arcadiode quit unexpectedly, and I'm like, what? That sounds serious. Arcadiode. It sounds like audio, because we were having some issues with audio, right? We were.
You sound okay.
Yeah. Okay. Well, what the fuck? Okay. Anyway,
it's like those leftover nuts and bolts when you're done with something. Just put it in a drawer. Don't worry about it.
Yeah, I don't know how to get started with this. I think what I want to do, is take kind of an analytical approach here to this thing. And an analytical approach would be taking a look at what morality is. Like when we're talking about morality, it's a big suitcase word that people use for a million things. And when I talk to a theist about it, they never talk about what morality is. They just start spewing it out. And then they insist that the only way that it can possibly be is either you believe God hands you the morality from the sky, or it's just your opinion. And I'm like, no, that's not what morality is. Morality is something that animals have, right? And the reason animals have them is because of this. Okay. Oh, wait a minute. Scott, how did you get to be first? God damn it. Scotty. Yes, took my spot.
You left.
To switch.
You left, and it was just me and Dave. And so really,
I know. You're trying to take over my channel. You're trying to take over our channel.
You lost your place in line, and
you're trying to boot me out.
You're not special. You have to wait in line like everybody else.
Right. Yeah. So being the strict naturalist and biologist I am, I define this whole morality thing at the very basis of it is the action of an organism. Okay, you do moral acts. I mean, there are some caveats here, but basically it's something about how you're going to act. And if you have a single-celled organism here, okay, and it moves up a pH gradient. Okay, there's a pH gradient. This is like high pH, like 8, and this is like very acid, and it's 3. It's moving towards something and away from something else, right? So that at the very basic is why I say morality is about valence. Okay. You catching up there, James?
Oh yeah, catching up.
Okay. So basically every single, even single-celled organisms that are motile, sponges don't move around, but most animals move around. They'll move towards something good and away from something bad. They'll move towards something pleasurable, away from something painful. And when you understand that this is about life itself, like single-celled organisms don't feel any pain, but yet they will move towards something that's good for them and away from something that's bad for them. Okay, this little guy doesn't like acid. He likes high pH because that's where his food chunks are out here, where the high pH is, right? So that's pretty simple. And then, but when we get to humans, we're a little more complicated than that. Okay. Oh, and I got small again. How do I get small again? Okay. So for basically for humans, there's a whole bunch of this, and at the very basic, the part that isn't talked about very often is this, and I think you touched on it on your stream, James. Is at the very bottom is this feeling or skill type reaction where if you're about to run into somebody where it would hurt them or run over somebody, you will just automatically swing away and turn the wheel so you don't hit another person, right? Mm-hmm. You won't think about it. You won't consult the Bible. you won't look up the laws on the matter. You won't sit there and reason all day long about the trolley problem. Should I switch? Should I turn the wheel, or should I, whatever? You'll react very basically. So at the very bottom, we are animals, and we have a very, very powerful limbic system that's all hooked up with our sense of smell and our stomach, and some moral actions disgust us and some don't. And that is the largest part of our morality right there, is how we feel about things, right? And I mean feel in the biological sense. I don't mean my opinion. It's like, oh, I don't feel it. That's a good cup of coffee. No, I'm not talking about that bullshit feeling. I'm talking about what drives us as organisms. And then that is pretty much based on this instinctive genetic makeup, which gives us things like pleasure and pain, and it gives us a certain deeper senses that develop very quickly as you grow up, where you like puppies better than full-grown dogs. You like children better than adults for some reason. I don't know why, and I don't know why that's instinctive, but it is. And so that's the instinctive part. But then on top of that, we humans have all this shit that we like to add: reason, language, dialogue, and planning. And that's where reason comes into a moral act, when you have time to sit and think about it. Like I'm supposed to go to dinner at my mother-in-law's, and I really don't wanna, but I know it'll hurt her feelings. So you sit and you go through this reasoning process because you have time to do it. Most of the time for moral acts, we just go from the gut, and that's called acting from my gut. And then we do a moral act over here. We do something, right? That sort of thing. And this reason stuff now gets a little more complicated, because we have a moral culture that we grow up in, and there are other people like us. And then we create societal laws, and we write descriptions of moral acts, right? So we can write language about it. So humans exist out in this thinky place, right? And that's where the Christians exist, because for them, it's all description in the Bible that tells them how the laws have been handed down. And they don't talk about or make much mention of this feeling part. They don't make much mention of the reason, the logic part, and they don't make any mention of the instinctual part. That we are at our core, we are moral animals. So that's kind of how I want to frame this discussion, is in all these, three parts of morality, basically, that are ignored oftentimes in moral discussions. Number one, we are animals. Number two, we behave as animals. Number three, we have all this thinky brain stuff on top of it, right? So we're complicated animals. Does that make sense?
So you're saying stinky brain stuff, or
squeaky?
Okay.
Squeaky, thinky brain too. I like to call it the thinky brain, but when we talk about it, we make squeaky sounds.
And there's a lot of people with stinky brains, if you really.
Oh yeah, stinky. Oh yeah, there are stinking thinking.
The question I have though is like you said, when we can sit and think about going to. I was just thinking of that. I was just thinking of that meme there. Did you see the one where they draw the circle?
Yeah.
That's a good one.
Nice.
I love that one.
Yeah, that is a good one.
Like you're saying, though, you're sitting and thinking about going to your mother-in-law's, or you're thinking about the trolley problem. Okay, but where does the cutoff or the shortcut, so to speak, when you have to do something in a split second timing?
Yeah.
Where you don't have time to sit and ponder it. You know what I mean? Like you're about to fall or something, right?
You're talking about the slow, the fast thinking, like from that book, Thinking Fast and Slow. There's the fast thinking brain and the slow thinking brain.
Right.
Yeah, but
So
they're not. They're not.
So you
separate.
have something that basically decides, don't think right now. You've got to do the speed brain, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, we have all this built-in fabric of skills and morals, and if you were a good Christian, you would say that it's written on my heart. Okay,
I got a quick
and
question here about your model.
what?
You've got an instinct component here, an instinct gene. And
Yeah.
I remember growing up being told by science teachers, and I believe these were like junior high classes, maybe high school, that humans don't have instincts. We have learning and knowledge. And
yeah, bullshit.
so what kind of work has been done to develop the idea of instinctuality? I guess we can call it instinctuality in humans over, say animals that just know to go south for the winter or something like that.
Yeah, not a hell of a lot actually, but the thing is, okay, you have you start to develop from this little zygote, right? You're one thing, and then you start to divide and whatever, and then you start to interact with your environment, and those genes basically interact with. So this would be nurture, basically, the environment, and the genes would be nature, and there's this interaction between those two things that sort of builds up an instinct. So before the child even knows language, before the child can have concepts and do reasoning as older children can do and adults, there is this instinctual base that basically develops no matter, even if you're raised by wolves, there are some of those things, or if you're raised by nothing at all, you just exist in the forest. There are things about your genetic makeup and your biological makeup that will interact with the environment that will end up making you a somewhat moral animal. Like, I think you could have empathy for a squirrel that you found on the path that was hurting, even if you were raised without any human beings or any wolves or anything. That you would see this animal and you would somehow understand that it too was suffering, and you would try to help it, basically. Possibly. So I think that's built into us, and I think that's instinctual.
It might.
I think yeah. I don't know. You'd have to test it a number of times, but I don't think a person would grow up a psychopath unless they were interacting with other people. I don't think there's such a thing as a psychopath. That's all kind of bullshit. Psychopaths grow up in an environment and they get shaped that way. They aren't born that way, even though some people would argue with me on that. But okay, that's what I mean by instinct. So the instinct part is very much connected to this feeling part. That's basically the first things that develop when you're like 1 to 3 years old. You're gonna end up with that, and then over the next what is happening? Come on, stop it, goddamn. So over the next
wait, so
rest
Joe,
of your life.
Joe wants something repeated. Joe, do you want a link? Like, someone could send you a link. You could jump in here.
Well, we could throw a link out and throw one out in chat there, Scott.
But they want
the real.
I'm on it.
Okay, what was the question? Where did Joe ask the question? I haven't been paying attention to chat. I'm sorry, guys. Animals taste good. Yeah. Oh, what did Joe ask? Oh, genetic and what? Oh, okay. I'm talking about, like, genes don't do anything by themselves. You could put a cup of DNA, on the counter for 100,000 years, and it would only do nothing, right? Okay, genes basically have to interact as the organism builds itself. The genes will interact with the environment, and in that way, your genetic, basically, your genes are going to have an influence on what you turn out to be, but it's the interaction of nurture and nature and genes and your environment that create what you are. And humans just have this genetic makeup that in many different environments, they're going to end up with empathy and feelings and taste and all of that. And I think humans are naturally good. I think particularly in the process of evolution from our primate ancestors, I think males became more nurturing than females. So males became more like females in human beings, We took on what they call feminine characteristics so that we would care for the young. We could be trusted to babysit the kid without eating him, right? It's really a bitch when your husband eats the kids. Ask my mom. But anyway, so I think it's built into us. And part of that is there are hormones in this part here, this feeling part. There are hormones, which I call juice squirters, that come from a basic old part of your brain that's called the limbic system. And these juice squirters, what they do is they light up certain areas of your cortex. So, isn't it?
Juice squirters?
Well, yeah, they're very much like lawn sprinklers because they project to all of your cortex. And they will light up a certain section of your cortical neurons and have you behave in a certain way. Like if you're afraid, you're only going to get fear and anger shit lighting up in your cortex. If you're feeling satiated and peaceful, it's going to light up a different part of your cortex. So it's almost like a lawn sprinkler. And you have to be really careful when you're dealing with your own emotions as a human being. If you want to be a rational human being, you have to understand that these lawn sprinklers are going to make you reason a certain way if you're angry and reason a different way if you feel peaceful, right? Or if you feel empathy, you're going to reason a different way. And the brain is not just one singular unit. It's all interconnected in bizarre ways. But yeah, you can think of your feelings as a lawn sprinkler that basically color and change the way all of your brain works, including that rational thinky part here that we think is so fucking great. It's not. Okay, when you're angry, you are going to reason badly. When you have that juice squirter really projecting, you cannot trust that you will reason properly.
Then you have pheromones floating in, and then it scrambles your brain completely.
Like for instance, if you're a person who has, for some reason, you've developed this fantasy that immigrants are taking your lunch away from you, and you're really afraid of immigrants, you might reason to do something really crazy, like vote for the fucking orange fucking Cheeto, because you're being affected by your emotions, and that's what it is.
But that fear is taught.
But they're turning the mice trans. He said so.
Oh yeah, and they spent $8 million on transgender mice. Did you hear that one? Did you know that? Did you hear what that really was about?
Yes, I did. Well, as soon as I heard it, without even looking it up, I'm like, they got to be talking about some experiment on mice, right?
Transgenic mice. Transgenic mice.
Yeah.
Okay, and transgenic mice are what we use for medicine to reason, right? Oh my God, and he said it in the State of the Union address. That's how fucking bad these people are.
So I have a question, Mike.
Yeah.
Because you mentioned the part about the tie-in to genetics with this. Are you saying we're genetically disposed for certain emotions, or that we're genetically disposed to reason our way into those emotions?
Genetically disposed for certain emotions. Basically, those at a real basal level, anger and the feeling of love and wanting to like nurture or hug, those sort of things. Those things are real primal needs and emotions, hunger, things like that. And they affect your reasoning.
So now my point of reference on this comes more from an evolutionary perspective. So You'll have to forgive me if I'm like just being too black and white with this, but like, are you saying that absent well, here's the trouble I have with that, is that those things such as affection and like, I think we're genetically predisposed to be a social species.
Yep.
And then there's certain implications with that of course, like We of course has empathy with our fellow humans. Some of us do, I guess. I'm just curious if it's how far removed from what we recognize as morality or emotion that is.
Okay, I'm not sure entirely what your question is.
In the morality lab studies, they were able to affect the frontal lobe and completely change the morals that people held most dear, I guess. The people who would list their morals in one way would list them in a different way.
Right.
And
if they gave them a stink, if they gave them something sour to drink or bitter, or if they affected their taste or smell, they could get them to become less morally.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Woke.
You could trigger that. Well, you could trigger it with conditioned responses, right? So you're combining psychology and biology there at the same time. So do we what we recognize as something that would make us have a flight or fight response, which I would say is probably one of the ones that would fit in that genetic bunch. Do you think we learn the things that we're supposed to respond that way to, but the response itself is the basal part?
Okay, what I was saying about juice squirters, okay, there's this whole limbic system basically that kind of runs at the center of your brain, and your olfactory, god damn it, why does I keep doing that? Your olfactory system basically feeds right into that, right? Yeah. And other things from your body, senses, whatever. And you've got this little bulb, called the amygdala that handles all the fear stuff. And what I'm saying is that this thing, okay, all your thinky stuff happens out here on the cortex, which means, rind or shell.
If you're drawing a picture, I can't see it, Mike.
Oh shit, I am. Let me see.
I can see it. You've drawn a nice testicle.
Yeah, nice testicle. No, it's a goddamn brain. Okay, the brain. Here's the temporal lobe.
Same thing for us dudes.
Yeah. Okay. So what I'm saying is that this is a very primitive part of your brain, the amygdala and the limbic system.
Sure.
And the limbic system's involved with your sense of smell. Your stomach has a whole huge brain of its own, like 300 million neurons that tell you when you're nauseated or when you're not feeling quite right. So when we have all these words that talk about morality that involve, sense of taste, smell in our stomachs and how our gut feeling, all of that stuff. Now, what I'm saying is that when that happens, these things project neurons to every part of your brain, basically. And they will select, oh my God, it did it to me again. They will select a certain part of your brain to react a certain way, right? So that very much affects us. That has a lot to do with our well-being and our sense of morality, right? We will find something really disgusting, and that feeling of disgust has nothing to do with this rational part of your brain that I showed here. That feeling of disgust is, it's all in this natural animal feeling part, and that's often left out of these philosophical discussions, and I think to their detriment, because then they fail to understand it. Now, in this part of the brain, you're going to find commonality between all human beings about violence, about killing, about rearing children, taking care of children, all of that stuff, about loving your mate, about sexual jealousy, about all the sex stuff is all. Romance, all of that is going to be tied up in this animal part of your brain.
Yeah.
And that very much affects this reason part of our brain. Well, and what I'm saying is that what the Christians have done is they've left all of this out, and they've just taken the part where, they have, it did it to me again, where they have a description, in the Bible about morality, which doesn't work very well. Go ahead, Joe.
Well, I mean, speaking of the amygdala and stuff, it's buried where it is in the brain. When the more important things are deep in there, right? Like the things that control our involuntary functions are there with that type of stuff because it's such an important core part of our survival. So, I mean that kind of follows that. What you're saying there about it being important for that reason. I think that you find that sorry. Go ahead, Mike.
No, I'm not sure if I can.
One thing.
Anyway,
one thing is the reason part, the language, even the dialogue, all that stuff. I'm under the impression most Christians think that that's not related so much to the brain anyway. It's we're just the repository for this thing called a mind and this thing called a soul.
Well, that's what I was getting at.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Is that whenever, like, I would say that Christians are more than happy to hear you separate morality from the brain. They want nothing more than to be able to do such a thing.
But I am definitely not doing that. I'm saying.
I know you're not doing that. I was just talking about with the example of the genetic part. That's why I asked you to specify from the beginning.
No,
sorry to keep interrupting.
Here's a definition of evil for you. Okay, if you do it entirely with reason. I wish this thing would. You got to find the setting. If you do it entirely with reason, right, and you let reason drive all of your morality, like you take the trolley problem and you use reason to solve the problem, that sort of thing, and you use reason to decide how your society should be, you may end up with what happened in Germany in the 1930s, right? Because that's where reason alone leads. When you completely ignore the feeling part of humans and the instinctual part of humans and all the things that are built into us as being social animals, and you start to think, what would be the best for us? What would be the best for humanity? Well, that would be killing all the people that don't look like us, and just or picking the people that are smartest and getting rid of all humanity. The other people, right? Less humanity, because your humanity lives down here, and in here for the most part. All this other stuff came about as
and that's one of the things whenever we talk about like secular humanist values and stuff. People like to stop at, well, what's best for humans and what's best for mankind, and there's a frame of reference top problem with that, because on the wider scale, humanity kind of behaves almost like a cancer on the earth. So the best thing for humanity would be to be about a quarter as many of us. But what metric are you talking about best for humanity? So we get into more of the stuff, because I've had the question come up before. Well, if you save 1 million lives by doing the acts that some evildoer tells you to do, then isn't that what's best for humanity? And aside from the other problems with that question, that means that it's not even to me really, but we get into like what's best for human flourishing, or what's best for a particular social group of humans. When you take it on a huge scale like that, and you try to zoom all the way out on it like that, you do end up with a lot of that. But also, I would say that the things that happened in Germany were more based on trying to use reason with bad knowledge to begin with. Social Darwinism was a disaster for a number of reasons. But
and how much would be the same and different with the morals if you could hypothetically, let's just say, put a bunch of children on an island that were taken care of and everything, and could have their needs met. However, you know what I mean? How would the
Lord of the Flies,
lack of the influence, of the outside influence,
they actually did
society?
They actually did a test where they took these kids and for some reason they divided them into two groups, and one group decided that swearing was evil and the other group decided that swearing was good, and they had to stop the experiment a week early because the kids were going to kill each other. Basically,
isn't that what they based the movie Lord of the Flies on?
I think maybe it was. I'm not sure. There's a certain. It's got a name. I think it's.
I know it's based on an actual study. I'm not sure if that's the one.
Yeah.
But yeah.
Yeah, that's the othering that and the thing about
so we go feral humanism? Real quick is what you're saying.
What's that?
Yeah.
I say we go feral really quick.
What we do is we tend to divide into groups. If we're divided into groups for any reason at all, then we end up driving that to a maximum, right? Where the groups, divide up, and that's what's happening in America today. At the highest level that's ever happened, we're divided into two parts.
Even if two groups followed the exact same tenets and rules, they would still be. There would still be the otherism and the tribalism that comes into play with that.
Right.
So you think that's why there's only the one hominid species right now, because
no,
we took out all the other ones.
It could be. I don't know. So that's where this becomes important for us. We do have to use reason, language, dialogue, planning, all of that. So we are this whole package here. We're not just we can't just live on this, because we'll end up warring with other groups that aren't like us, right? So we can't just go entirely by our juice squirters. We have to add this whole thing. But when you talk about morality, you love my juice squirters, don't you?
I love the juice squirters. BS loved it too. He said he made a movie about that.
All morals aren't equal, though, right? Like, our response to fear is stronger than our response to joy. Or is that incorrect?
No, I think it is. But there's a whole lot of aspects to this. Like, one interesting aspect, and the Buddhists kind of knew about this, particularly the Zen Buddhists, is that if you live in this moral manner where you pay less attention to yourself and more attention to everything else around you, you end up with a more peaceful life, and you end up happier as a result of that. So that's kind of that's almost an assertion that if you live a gentle, peaceful life where you don't overturn too many sticks and leaves, where you walk through the forest as if you weren't even there, you will be more at peace, and you will be calmer, and you will be happier for yourself. So if you're worried about yourself, that's one reason why you would want to behave morally, because you're going to be more at peace. Did we lose Joe? I think so. For a moment, we lost Joe. So I mean, there's that. There are reasons to behave morally, even if you're a selfish son of a bitch. But I don't think we are selfish son of a bitches. We have if we see somebody that's really in pain, we immediately transfer our feelings into them, and we want to help them, unless we hate them, right? Unless we have some reason.
Well, that's what I mean. Are you talking more about, if there's a large enough group, it's okay, but if there's a bunch of little individual groups, then there's problems.
Yeah, but I think maybe another takeaway from this whole thing is that morality is something that is living right now and evolving as we move. There's no way to write down a description of it like they tried to do it 2,000 years ago in the Bible and have that make any fucking sense at all. I mean, the only way it's going to make sense is as a lived, your lived life. Basically, you live morality in the moment. We're doing it right now. We're trying to communicate with other human beings, and I think all of us would like it if we had some peace and understanding in the world, right? So I mean, so we're living this in the moment, and in the moment there are going to be changes. Before we get too far, one other thing about morality is there are core morals. Thou shalt not kill, right? Thou shalt not steal from other people. There are these core morals that we all agree on as human beings. And then outside of that, there's the cultural thing where we're going to have differences, right? And we're going to have opinions. And
yeah, that's the problem. It's always, love thy neighbor. But again, that's only talking about the tribe. And anybody that's not outside the tribe, well, and nowadays it's, different political groups and different countries and everything. And they say, hey, you know what? We don't like them over there. And then we know what happens, right?
Yeah, so let's look at the trolley problem. Okay, if we really wanted this, suppose we got a government grant from our fine Republican government, and they gave us $10 billion to explore the trolley problem. What I would do is I'd tie a bunch of people to the track, 6 people, and then I'd tie one person to the other track, and then I'd see what the person did, right? Well, then I would tie 8 people to the one track, but one of them would be a child. And then all the rest would be adults. And then the other one would be just a 30 something, mechanic. And then I'd see what they did. And then I would take that child and I'd make them like 3 months old. Then I'd make them 3 years old, a toddler. Then I'd make them 6 years old. Then I'd make them a teenager. And I'd bet a lot of them would kill a teenager, especially parents. But then you just keep, there's a million ways you could do this experiment, right? And in every goddamn one of them, you're going to end up with, if you take 100 people, you're going to have like 77 of them going one way and, the other 23 going the other way. And, it's really complicated. So morality isn't something that we can just grab on and write down on a paper and say, this is the way it's going to be, except for these core morals. No killing, no stealing, crap like that. So it's always a lived experience. We're always living this thing. What happened to Joe? He disappeared. Did he? Yeah, he did. Anyway, so that's kind of like. I also have a video I could play where the Christians are saying stupid shit. We could do.
Surely no such video exists.
I got one. You remember JG came in the other day?
Oh,
well, yeah. He went off and did a stream right after that. And
I figured he probably would.
Oh yeah.
I see Daen Dark-Light's in the chat. He's going eBay is gonna have a stream Sunday morning, I believe it is.
Okay.
With Brooklyn Lou that was on the other day when you had the stream.
Oh yeah,
and some other folks. I dropped him a wrench. So I'm gonna drop
Dark-Light
the chat. Feel free, whatever.
Okay. Objective truth exists apart from the human mind. This is what makes truth objective. Now you can have the objective truth that exists apart from the human mind exists in those genes and the kind of organisms and animals we are. But if there are no animals, I think you could argue that there is no morality, right? If there are no animals doing anything, why would there be morality at all? So I'm not sure what you mean by that. Anyway, Daen Dark-Light. Yeah, so you should post links to that so we can put them in because I'm going to forget. So that's Sunday morning, right?
They said, they said they're putting it together right now, but drop a link. You can drop a link for your channel.
Yeah, drop a link for the channel.
This declaration here makes me think that Daen Dark-Light woke up, having bought some of the strongest coffee ever brought to humankind, drank about a gallon of it, and I'm lyrical now.
Oh my gosh. I think I saw that happen on Beavis and Butthead once.
The morning person.
Okay, now, James, I know that you are, it's very hard for you to interrupt. So what do you think?
I had a video for the juice squirter thing. And I turned it off because it was because we wanted to watch you draw some pictures. But let me share that one more time.
Okay.
It's not on cue anymore because we're kind of past it, but I'm going to share it anyways.
Yes. Oh, there it is.
There we go.
Go ahead, play
this is how the juice squirters work.
The juice leafsol separates the fiber from the juice, saving only the most essential elements. That's the beauty of my design, Gordy. I want you to try something.
Sure, Jay.
A little concoction I made before the show.
Okay. Tastes like somebody's dirty undershorts.
Not just somebody's, Gordy. They're mine. But see, it's the life-giving juice.
That's incredible.
That's it, guys.
Okay. Yeah, that's pretty good. Okay, let's listen to what the Christians. When Christians can't understand what atheists are and naturalists are, first of all, it's not an atheist position; it's a naturalist position that I have. When they can't understand it, I think it's because they are in a cult, and they can't think outside of their own cult. I mean, they have to think in this cult-like manner. Atheists and Universalists. Okay, why do I have three of them?
So I got Daen's links dropped for him in both the chats there.
Okay, good. Okay, let me just play this, and I think he gets into it here.
Well,
yeah. Well, the way I see it, it's all
James.
When you get a chance, there's some interesting comments in the chat, but you can go ahead.
Oh no, go ahead. Let's handle that. And I also invited you to talk and then just ran right over you.
Oh no, I'm hero supporter other people's channels. That's my mode. Okay. I'm there if you need me, and if you don't, it's abs. So it's not like I don't talk enough on my channel. So Daen, I don't know Daen Dark-Light. Do you? I mean,
Yeah.
No, I just
know
met them, I think
I know them.
Met them. Okay.
So are they on kind of our side of the fence here, or are they on the other side of the fence?
Yeah, you can go over there and check it out.
Oh, all right, yeah, I'll go check it out.
Yeah.
Well, tell us. Come on.
It's a surprise.
Are there sides of the fence? Slime fuck YouTube in the ass.
Yeah.
Okay, what are the interesting comments you wanted me to pay attention to?
Well, I mean, those are interesting, and so is Can't Stop the Matt Walsh. Absolute objective truths exist in different contexts. These are logical truths, mathematical truths, and moral truths. The human mind has no bearing in these truths. That's what makes it objective.
I agree.
I mean, I don't know about objective moral truths, but
but that's not moral. Yeah, that's not moral. And moral truth is kind of a loaded way to put it.
Yeah,
what do you think? Go ahead.
It's rhetorical trickery. Moral truth, that's what's being debated too. A moral truth is not a truth. It's just what people in society accept as right or wrong, or appropriate or inappropriate behavior, and it contains various social consequences if you don't comply. Those ideas, those behaviors are housed in the human brain. And guess what? Lots of humans in social relation to one another have human brains. So I guess you could say it's objective in that way, but there's nothing absolute about it. It can change, and it will change, and it has changed even for Christians. So
yeah, if you want to talk about moral truths, and you're talking about that fundamental, basically, because we are a certain kind of animal, a certain kind of social animal, we don't kill each other. We shy away from violence. We prefer peace. We take care of our children. You might want to call those moral truths, but I wouldn't. I just call them morals. It's like bringing this moral truth thing is so that he can slide this in, just like 2 + 2 = 4. No, it's not like that. Morality doesn't work that way. Morality isn't. You're not always going to know how to switch that train. I mean, it's going to be sort of a seat of the pants moment for you if you ever get in a trolley situation.
Right. That's my thing. Yeah. When you have time to think about it, we can sit here and think about it and discuss it. And, well, this
right.
But in the moment, yeah, you've got 2 seconds. Go. Right.
Yeah. And when people bring up something like torturing cats or some fucking thing like that, I mean, these are things that we just all, like we're repulsed by it, right? And that's coming from the real deep part of our animal nature, that we're repulsed by that kind of a thing. But then, there's all these little gray areas that you come up with, like abortion, right? Because that depends on when you think a human is a human. And those are going to be a little bit different. So you can't just chuck all morality into a bag and talk about it like it's a singular thing that the atheist has to find the foundation for and has to, ground. It's like this shit happens over and over again, and it's what'd you call it? Rhetorical nonsense.
Sleight of hand.
Sleight of hand. Yeah.
Sure. So
anyway,
if we suppose for the sake of argument that there are absolute objective moral truths that are timeless and not context dependent, well, then it's a shame that humans don't have a clarified or objectively verifiable access to that domain of reality, right? All we can do is feel around blindly for whatever that might be. And Bibles and religion do nothing to really help us figure out what that might be.
Yeah, okay, there again, these absolute moral truths you're talking about, these are things that we all agree on based on our animal nature, based on the kind of animal that we are. And you're conflating those with things like abortion, which are not based on that, which we've made divide upon. There is a whole range of kinds of moral decisions that you're going to make. And even in your life, you may decide morally to do something one way one time, and then another time in a different context, you will do the exact opposite, basically, for different reasons. So you're trying to make morality some singular thing. It is not. And every time you get into a discussion with these people, they'll start talking about the R word and the baby word, right? And
but to be fair, T jumps on our side of the fence, but he thinks there's an absolute objective reality.
I know.
So,
I don't know what he's talking about. I don't know what he's talking about.
My point is that even, that it's not strictly a religion versus atheism issue, that talking point. And even if there is something that's objectively moral, like we're still feeling around for it, right? We're still, I mean, if you were to ask somebody that wrote Bible stories about the R word, they would be like, I don't see a problem with it. That's how I spend every Thursday afternoon.
Right. Yeah,
right?
yeah.
So,
well, I think they did.
T-Jump also says something about less immoral too, right? So like if you had a decision to make, there would be something that would still be immoral, but it would be less immoral to do the thing that would be better, right?
Okay, put lions on trial. Okay, now you're talking about the laws that we write down based on our morals. That's a whole different thing. Of course, we're not going to put lions on trial for eating or cats on trial for eating mice, though some people might want to. But morality does exist in the animal world. We are animals and we're moral animals, and obviously it exists. And I've watched raccoons behave in a moral manner, where they will abhor violence and shy away from that sort of
all
thing.
That stuff in the white paper all those stuff at the white paper in the wrapped in the white paper at the store came from us putting down some animals, right? So
right. Yeah, we got just all these shades and grades, to our morality.
It wasn't that long ago we didn't have all the modern ways to take something down,
Yeah, and
humanely, so to speak, right? Yeah.
Getting back to the grape issue, today it's a crime against people who are female. Up until pretty recently, it was a property crime. So even to say blank has been immoral, back when grape was a property crime, it was theft. It was or conversion, both of which are property crimes.
Property damage.
We're talking about crimes against people today, and so I don't even think the theists are clear on what kind of crime, what kind of moral truth they're talking about. It has changed since then. Of course, I know in some countries it is about property.
Right.
It's definitely not absolute if you don't even know what it is. If you don't even know.
Yeah, but I bet
immorality. It is.
I bet if you marched into a Neanderthal camp 70,000 years ago and you raped some 300-pound Neanderthal's daughter, I bet you'd find out that it was even immoral then. What do you think? Or tried to rape his wife, or tried to rape anybody in that camp?
It's your stream, but you might want to say the G version.
I don't know. The classic,
Yeah, fuck them, James.
Thing is always, they're dragging the woman off, right? So
yeah,
were they dragging them off or not? When
they might have been dragging them off, but they had to drag them off in the dark of night. They certainly weren't going to get away with it because there were a lot of people. Those animals cared about each other back then, and they would have defended their women. And
right,
so
the tribal instinct would be very strong, right?
Sure.
And the person that did it would not feel good about themselves particularly. I'm sure that they would have had some sort of repulsion for what they were doing themselves, even if they justified it in some manner.
I mean, you might be right about that. But yeah, in Bible, it was a crime against a man, right? It was crime against a man or crime against a tribe. It was never seen as a crime against a woman.
Yeah, and that's kind of Western civilization, basically. Pretty good at that. I don't know where it became property stuff, because there was this thing about division of property when you have children, and you have cousins and all that stuff, and then when you have there's a whole lot of stuff with genetics, basically that the reason that we are sexually jealous is because we wanted our genes in the future and not somebody else's. That sort of thing. I mean, all that shit is mixed in, and that all comes from our animal nature. And it just got all turned up, and here we are today, and now it's modern fucking times. It's 2025, for Christ's sake. We can use our thinky reasoning brain to make sense of a lot of it, but we can't deny that fundamental core limbic system exists, and that we abhor violence and we abhor pain and all of that, right? So I mean,
and where did the genetic diversity come in? That's my question. You know what I mean? We're so tribal to the group. You know what I mean? Why didn't we have more of an inbreeding problem? There had to be expansions into other groups somehow, right?
Yeah.
So whether it was dragging, so to speak, dragging them off, or if it was, trade, right? Maybe for, food or something, right? There had to be some cooperation to get the diversity, right?
My friend Mac was into anthropology when we were teenagers, and he read about the pygmies, and they existed in these huge tribes, and once or twice a year, they would all get together, pack their stuff, and go visit another tribe. And the first thing they would do when they visited the other tribe is figure out who was related to who, so they could figure out who to have sex with. And then they would interchange, basically. So which is kind of cool,
one of my
right?
family reunions.
Yeah, exactly. Right. Well, a Kentucky family reunion must be a lot like that.
Everybody, all this so and so. Yeah, you line up over here, and everybody else, you line up over on this side.
Yeah, right.
And everybody stay over there. Stay on your side.
but these are real problems, and these things drive us. But I insist that it all starts with the animal.
What was it though? I mean, what do you think it was, Mike? Because we could have doomed ourselves, right? Being too tribal.
Yeah. Yep.
Was it just the looking over, what's going on over there, curiosity or whatever, like?
Well, over in Israel, they did an interesting experiment.
Other species do it too, right? Other species do it too. They'll have their pack or whatever, so to speak, but they have to have another influence for diversity, or otherwise you doom yourselves.
There was an interesting experiment done in Israel where they raised all of these children in this group, like this group school. And the idea was that they were going to grow up and they were going to mate with each other, right? And so they all grew up together as like brother and sister, very close. And they couldn't stand the idea of mating with each other. They felt exactly like normal people feel about mating with their sister. When you grow up in the same family, you develop this, and I think it comes from, I think there's actually a sense of smell where we can detect certain and like part of the immune system in the other person, and we will have a real repulsion to incest, and even other animals have it, and that keeps us genetically diverse. And of course, that very likely evolved, right?
Yeah.
So that's interesting. Why? Yeah, that was unnecessary. That's like with that speech I was talking about before, where you have evolution driving evolution, right?
Yeah.
That would fall into that.
Yep.
Interesting.
Oh, let's see. Okay, I'm can't stop the Matt Walsh. Boy, I wish somebody would. Admitting absolute truth exists and necessitates an absolute metaphysical. Oh no, it doesn't. I just don't give me that shit. Fucking precept. He's gonna precept me. What are we otherwise?
Again, even if we humor the argument, that doesn't get us any closer to the destination, right? We can suppose objective morality, whatever that is, and a metaphysical reality that we need to be able to ground our morals in. Even if we suppose all that, that doesn't mean we've got it, right? That doesn't mean we have access to it. That just arguing that we need it isn't the same as substantiating that we have it.
Yeah. So, I wanted to comment about this. Okay, there's this bullshit here. What is it? Okay, just a result of random chemicals. Well, it doesn't matter if you're a result of random chemicals or not. You are those chemicals, and you're going to behave a certain way based on those chemicals. And it doesn't have anything to do with random chemicals. And if you want to do it, that's called greedy reduction. With only children would do that. It's like, why should I eat this stuff, Dad? It's just atoms and it's mostly space. Why should I eat my broccoli? All it is mostly space, right? I shouldn't eat it. It's like, why do you eat if it's just random chemicals? I won't say it, will I, Scott?
Well, and it's overstating the obvious, right? The Turek and Ken Ham and everything, they repeat you're just molecules in motion. And it's like, we're molecules.
Yeah, so what?
I
am the molecules.
Yeah.
Right.
It's just,
when I punch you in the mouth.
Yeah, it gets a laugh for some reason, but when you think about it, doesn't make any sense.
Yeah, when I get tired of your precept and I punch you in the mouth, that's just molecules in motion. So don't worry. It's not going to hurt. It's only molecules in motion, and it's mostly space. Atoms is mostly space. So why should it hurt when I punch you in the mouth?
Well, the debate the other day with T-Jump and Jim Bob, a lot of critiques on it. I'm not going to get into all that, but his main point was every time all these big, long questions got thrown at him, he just said, it's in the brain. Right? It's in the brain. There isn't anything else you can demonstrate outside the brain. So all these, fantastic thoughts and everything we're having they're in the brain.
So now he's going to ask a chicken and an egg question here.
So now we need to use. Is my mic working or no? Probably not.
It is.
It is. Yeah. Oh, okay.
No good to use the chicken and the egg thing.
What was that comment again that they said that they wrote? Doesn't have anything to do with random chemicals that help us go from chemical cracks, go from morality to some sense of morality.
What roboting a little
Well, the argument is that primates have had, and a lot of other creatures too, have had a sense of morality, or should we say some sense of morality for millennia, for
well, I think that's
all mammals do.
Well, I think it's a sense of equity and empathy, and then from there we build upon that. We form agreements, and that's basically where our morals come from.
Yeah, when we developed language and the ability to communicate symbolically, it sure multiplied. And of course, as our brains grew, there's more.
Yeah, what I want to know is
parts to deal with it.
So I'm assuming that other person that's there can't stop Matt Walsh. I'm assuming that they're appealing to the idea that we have to have something outside of ourselves for us to appeal to for our morality and for our.
Yeah.
So I would like to know how does that solve the issue, considering the fact that we are using our senses to perceive the entity in order to appeal to it.
Right. Yeah, how does God entail morality or entail intelligibility? What is the entailment, basically? I don't know.
Well, and the other thing is that is the morality innate? Is it something that exists independent of God? God knows what that innate morality is, and that's why he's prescribing it or saying, hey, you guys need to follow this because I know that morality actually exists. This is what it wants from everything in the universe or everything in reality. Or is it simply just the morality of that entity going, hey, I made you, this is how I want you guys to behave amongst each other?
Yeah, I don't know.
And if God did plan it that way, Jesus Christ writing it down in a book, well, I mean, obviously there are going to be gray areas that are going to come up, right? Gray areas.
Well, sure. Well, the other thing is, have you guys watched speaking of since we're on the conversation of morality and ethics here, have any of you watched that debate between Andrew Wilson and I think his name is Cliff, Fight the Flat Earth? It was during that debate con, Modern Day Debate hosted it.
Oh, was it a 4-person panel with Cliff and Stewart on one side?
No, this is just a one-on-one.
Because I remember one time Cliff was in one of those debates, and it was about, is Christianity rational? And halfway through the debate, he switched from saying it is to saying it's not, but we shouldn't expect it to be because God's mind is so superior to ours.
Yeah, this was Andrew Wilson and Cliff, and in my opinion, it was which one's better for society, Christian theism or Christian ethics versus secular morality, and they both biffed it, in my opinion, because I was like, because neither of them really understood like secular humanism, predominant from what I've read on secular humanism, which I don't necessarily hold to, is his name is Craig, Fight the Flat Earth. Yep. Is that it's predominantly based on consequentialism and utilitarianism. And so when Andrew Wilson is telling, well, if he goes outside the secular humanist, the humanist manifesto, I win. And I'm like, do you not know how a fucking foundation works? Like, here's the humanist manifesto, and here's the things that they agree to, and from those agreed upon statements, they start to reason from that to this. It's not those aren't necessarily the prescriptives there. That's setting the foundation. And he completely fucked that up. And then the funny thing is that Craig is sitting there, and there's some parts where Craig is kind of struggling. I think Craig was kind of brought in. I think that was originally set up between Andrew Wilson and someone else. I think Craig was brought in as a fill-in. But there's this part where at the beginning of the debate, before they even start doing their opening statements, Andrew Wilson starts talking about he's talking about how he was in his hotel enjoying some whiskey. Now, that's a good place to start. I grew up with Christians who believed that was the most unethical thing that you could do.
Right.
So if you really want to talk about the consistency of Christian ethics, which Christianity are we referring to? Eastern Orthodox, Roman Catholic, Calvinism, Protestant, Lutheran, Wesleyan, Baptist? What ones are we going to go with? Because most of the Christians I grew up with, it was immoral to smoke and drink, but not to you. So
in the churches I went to, it was immoral to go to a place where they serve alcohol, because even if you had ice water, somebody might see you and think, oh, that Christian from that church or whatever is drinking some sort of clear alcohol.
Yeah,
and
you could cause a
Jesus
child.
is bullshit, and I'm going to hell.
But you could cause a child to stumble. Was one of the churches that I went to.
Yeah, you could cause somebody to stumble in your freedom or something like that.
Wow. Yeah.
That's all I got to say about that's. I just wanted to throw that out there because it was a fun little conversation about ethics, and none of them seemed to really understand. It's like both of them should have read like Ethics for Dummies before having that conversation.
Yeah.
And then they wouldn't have ever had that debate. They'd have been like, yeah, there's no point.
Yeah. Part of the reason for my big diagram here, Jay, is that I'm trying to get back to the point where we understand the complexity of this thing we call morality, where it's based on all of these different spheres, and it's contextual, and it's sort of a lived thing that we do. And it's not something you can just sit and put your finger on it and then use some example about torturing kitties and think that that is supposed to apply to everything. And this bullshit that is just my opinion. It's just subjective or objective or whatever. And the objective-subjective dichotomy is also bullshit, because the true picture is very complex. And when you talk about morality, you have to understand the whole range.
Well, I don't have a problem with objective morality when objective is being used as is it working towards a goal. It's when they're using objective to say it's mind independent or independent.
Right.
It's purely independent. And then you have to go, okay, so it exists innate of itself. So, okay, let's where do we find morality at? And if that's the case, then you're
you're not going to find morality if all humans everywhere disappear.
Yeah, unless you refer to the equity and it seems to be like this innate sense of equity and empathy in certain social species.
Right. And if you say it's in God's mind, whether humans are here or not, then it's subjective.
It's still subjective because it's mind. Yeah, because it's dependent on that.
Mind dependent.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, and it's not actually entirely mind dependent, because the kind of organism we are is going to have a lot to do with our morality, and people ignore that. And that's the part where the only place I'd agree with Christians is when they say it's written, morality is written on your heart. It is. It's written on the kind of organism that we are, basically, and we call that our heart. Basically operating like if you're in Taekwondo. And you're in a match, you do not think when you're in a match. You just flow, So it's, if you get into that flow, it is like when I get into that flow, and I call this spirituality, I tend to behave morally.
I remember seeing the flow of Taekwondo, watching two guys just kick at each other's heads repeatedly. It's like,
no, yep,
no, yep. No.
Yeah.
Like that's not exciting at all.
Oh, but they're just they're just playing.
I think it's Taekwondo's like 70 or 80% kicking. So it's like, yeah, okay.
Yep. It's all kicking.
Well, and what the idea too that the human brain is somehow special and unique. But I still want to know what's going on. Like I just saw another video with there's a whale in distress. And the calf comes up to the boat, and it's coming right up and bumping on the boat and everything and stuff. And and it's rolling over on its belly, to show submission and all this. And they're like, "What's going on?" So they called the animal in trouble people, whatever it's called.
Yeah.
And they came out and stuff, and sure enough, its mother had some netting wrapped around her. It was in some kind of distress. Yeah.
What's
going on?
There's foxes. There's foxes that knew to do that. They'd get into snares, or they'd get into something, and they get stuck or something, or get something stuck on them, and they'd purposely find a human being and show it to a human. Like, this is yours. Yeah. Get it the fuck off me.
Yeah.
So it has to be that there's some kind of thinking going on, right?
It's not thinking. It's
whatever you want to call
feeling
it, right?
part. Dave, that's that feeling part of the brain. That's just very powerful. And for that, there has to be some kind of reasoning and thinking going on. But I had this 170-pound Saint Bernard, right? And we got a little 1-pound kitten named Thor. Thor is now 13 years old. And Thor loved the Saint Bernard. So Thor would go sleep when Dozer would lay down and curl his tail up, Thor would sleep in his curl, right? In between his, in the middle of his tail. And Dozer would sit there. Dozer would sit there all tensed up, like, okay, I can't move. I need to go to the bathroom. Please get this cat out of here. But he would not move because he was afraid he was going to hurt that cat. And he never stepped on Thor. And he would always, they had this relationship.
It's like an elephant with a mouse.
Tell me that's not moral. I mean, that is morality in action. I mean, it's just, and it's at a very
dogs
basic,
will tell on each other. The one will come up and he'll be acting all funny, and he'll be like, just acting weird. I'm like, what's going on? And it's like doing the Lassie thing. Like, you know what I mean? Like, I'm trying to tell you something.
Mine's not like that.
And you go and you look, and here, sure enough, here's the other one getting into a plant or something. You know what I mean? So it's like, why did he, know to come and tell me, hey, the other one's messing up, right?
No, my dog just avoids the cat because I've yelled at the cat enough times in a very harsh way because the cat's a kitten and it gets into shit. And Maddie, my dog, doesn't like that, so she will avoid the cat because she doesn't want anything to do with that. I'm like, you're a pussy. 55-pound pit bull, you're a big pussy.
Yeah, and then somebody will use like dogs fighting as an exception, but just humans don't do that. Just go to a bar on a Friday night and stick around long enough, and you'll see that they're just like dogs.
But if a critter comes in my yard, my dogs are probably going to do away with it, right? But yet in the house, they know to get along with the cat. You know what I mean? Yeah. It's. Well, they know that line,
Well, I've got a coworker that has a pit bull and a cat, and the pit bull, she has a pit bull, a chihuahua, and a cat, and the pit bull is fine with the cat that she has, but any other cats get in the backyard, that pit bull kills those cats.
Will kill them. Yeah, they're very territorial.
Yep.
We had that with our same.
I had a pair that used to do tug of war with anything they got, and we had to get the hose on them by the time they were done. It was it was terrible.
Yeah,
do you guys know Clockwork Rex? Do you know them?
Yeah.
No.
Yeah.
They're asking if they can join.
Oh, I thought we put a.
Yeah, he's a non-believer. He's a good old boy.
Thought we put a link out. Hang on a second, I'll do it again.
We did, but it never got pinned, I don't think.
Clockwork was on somebody's stream the other day.
There was this one time where I found where I found this like small kitten under a car. I brought him home, and he and my dog just got along really good. It was so weird to watch. Like you would think because my dog had been around for like 15 years or whatever, and the cat was just new. But no, they got along. It was so weird to watch. Them like running around outside. It was cute. Now,
we thought our pit bull might have some kind of sense of maternal instinct when it came to that kitten, especially when the kitten walked up to her.
Good point, actually. I never really thought of that. Go ahead.
No, our dog does not have maternal instinct.
Well, no, I know. I just didn't think about it. Go ahead. I just didn't think about it. Go ahead. Whatever.
Yeah, if it's a female, some dogs have that. You can see that kind of like almost like an innate maternal instinct come out, especially when it comes. They like recognize infants, right? Yeah, my dog does not. No, she was just like I told this story before. When that kitten walked up to us, I didn't find it. It found us. Walked right up to the pit bull, rubbed up on the pit bull, and my dog looked at me like, "What the fuck is going on?"
Yeah, stop it.
Yeah, you're like, do I kill it? Do I eat it? What do I do?
Yeah, what do I do?
Cats and dogs don't get along,
Oh, yeah,
and
that's
weird
what I thought.
when they do. Right.
Yeah, for me, it was walking by the car and hearing meow, meow. It was just so adorable. Like I walked into the car, the kitten, came out. It was. Yeah, I'll never forget that experience.
I tried to. Yeah, mine was coming from the planter in the front porch, and I didn't know where it was coming from and wanted to get the fuck inside because I did not want to take care of another animal. And before I could get Maddie inside, here comes this little squirt, starts rubbing up on Maddie, then starts rubbing up on me, and I'm like, God damn it.
and now you're stuck with the cat.
Yep. Now he's sleeping. Now he's sleeping on top of my freaking cupboards. Fucking asshole.
Yeah, I got a friend who's a dog. He's a dog.
Morality.
I got a friend who's a dog person, and I talked to him on Sunday night, and he sent me pictures of. He's got 3 little kittens. They wandered into his yard and into his house. Then he fed them, and now they live there. Now
they choose people. They specifically choose people. And in this case, he chose our dog and then he chose me. He hates it. Yeah. Like when I get up, he'll come running. Every morning I come home from work, Maddie, my dog has now now at 8 years old, has started to greet me when I come home only because the cat does it. She never used to do it before.
Hey,
Mike, but because the cat does it, now she does it.
Rex was on my channel, so I dropped it over there. So
that is funny, Jay. That is.
You probably want to pin it over there. So
like,
okay,
oh, I
Clockwork
better
Rex.
step on my game. I don't want to lose. I don't want to lose them. This little cat is replacing me. I need to greet him as well.
But that's the thing. When she goes the way of the dodo, we'll have the cat still. And I'm like, yep, that's all I'm taking care of because he's been a handful.
Hello, Jay and Midnight. Good to see you.
Hello.
Hello.
Hello, Clockwork Rex. Were you on Mod's stream the other day or something?
Yeah.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah, I know Rex. I've known him for years.
No, you don't. Quit lying, Midnight.
Okay, I don't know you. Fuck off.
You don't know me at all, you albino.
You guys want to see? You guys want to see some? You guys want to see something classy? Get Clockwork Rex and Jill in a live stream together. It's fucking hilarious.
Oh,
really?
Damn,
oh, it's like.
Damn,
it's like gas. It's jet fuel and fucking. It's jet fuel and fire, man.
Jet fuel can't smell steel beams. Wait, so it's chill the steel beams. I don't know, but
it ain't oil and water.
Yeah,
you got a full house.
Look, Jill starts his shit, and I just drop the thermite on him. You know, I just don't play with his ass because he's stupid. He's been saying the same stuff for the past 6 or 7 years.
He's gotten worse.
Have you met Darth Dawkins? I mean, from what I hear now, he's on TikTok. Like, what the fuck? Yeah, he's on TikTok.
He's a classic.
Everywhere else.
He's a classic now. Yeah.
Midnight, to be fair, he's on TikTok, then he's not on TikTok, then he's back on TikTok, then he's not on TikTok. TikTok, when they find you, they boot his ass.
Yeah.
Hey, Dark-Light. Dark-Light just joined. What do you got?
Oh, hey, Dark.
What up, y'all?
Hey.
Are we just strictly doing morality right now?
Well, yeah, I think we've put it in a box.
Okay, well, I just wanted to give a brief description about my theism because I got a very different theism from most.
Yeah, cool.
Is that all right?
Yeah.
All right. I'm a non-Abrahamic true monotheist. I think the biggest.
Sorry, I just never heard that. Go ahead.
I think the biggest difference between an atheist and a theist is essentially one way or another, an atheist prefers to live in a non-magical world, and one way or another, a theist prefers to live in a magical world.
Okay.
Well, I'm just saying that's just my perception of it. You know, I'm just giving you all my perception right quick. And because
do you think the word prefers there is an intentionality? Unpack that word prefer and how it fits in, because that just to me that sounds like, oh, I choose to believe this or I choose to believe that, when I don't really believe you can choose what you accept as true. So what does that word prefer? What's that doing there?
And I would argue, but an atheist and a theist can both see the universe as magical in different ways. Go ahead.
Yeah. Well, I'm not speaking for any other person, but for myself, I prefer to live in a magical world, and one way or another, I will create any mental gymnastics necessary in order to justify my perception of a magical world.
No, I get that, but
I think I do that too.
Yeah, but you're assuming that the atheist doesn't see it as magical world for different reasons.
And I also have to define my definition of magical, because I have a different definition for most people, because I see all of creation as magical.
Yeah,
I mean, so do I, and I'm an atheist. Yeah.
Okay, so we at least agree on a magical world part right there. Okay, so
I did not mean to hijack what you were saying or derail it. I was just trying to get clarification on what that word means. I probably should have waited till you finished. So do you want to finish describing?
So Dark-Light, I'm not an atheist. So far, I am not an atheist when around you, but I would be an atheist when I'm around a Christian. Okay. So what you've said so far matches my view of naturalism and complexity and evolution and this absolute goddamn miracle that we find ourselves in. Right.
Yep.
I mean, this is miraculous. Yeah.
And check it out. Isn't it interesting that we all have a different perception, and we all have a slightly different perception of every single word? I think, just for me personally, that is a clue and a slight proof that we are all co-creators because it is absolutely my belief that we all create our own worlds. And if you don't believe me,
yeah.
We create our own worlds through our perception and our thoughts. Thoughts, beliefs direct thoughts, and thoughts direct actions. And through our actions, we create our own world.
I'm starting to like this guy.
God, I hope I'm not in charge.
Yeah. I have something else to blame it on.
Can I give my definition for God real quick?
Yeah.
Do y'all mind?
No, not at all.
Okay. Well, I would say divine sovereignty is the inalienable connection of the creation to the actual one true creator. And once again, I will say there is no name that can encapsulate the one true creator. And anyone that attempts to place a name over the one true creator is attempting to separate the creator from all other creation. I see all words ever spoken, all names ever spoken, all spirit, everything is an extension of the one true creator. And I would say the attributes for me personally of God is hyper unity and balance within creation, consciousness, dark and light. And I can expound on that a little bit. I would also
Spinoza.
I would the attributes that I perceive, which to me prove that there is an actual one. And once again, the one true creator that I perceive is not something that is separate from you. It is something that is interwoven into the very fabric of our being.
Does that include
once again, those attributes are unity and balance within creation, consciousness, dark and light, and there are a bunch of I got to go write them down separately because I'm a guy that needs my notes. I'm looking at my notes right now, and I'm working on my itinerary for my live. But so I will come over here right quick if y'all got a second. Okay, the Godhood is
notes too.
Yeah. The God, I call it the Godhood, which is separate from the Godhead. Okay, the Godhead, once again, is something that is separate from you and over you and dictating down to you. The Godhood is an equal, it is an equal sharing of the Godship. We are all God essentially, in my view. If the one true creator is a perfect creator, then every creation within existence is also perfect, meaning that we are all a quanta fractal of God, essentially. So I would define, continuing, I would say God is the fractal singularity matrix of the all spark within the ever dark. And fractals are infinitely complex patterns that are self-similar across all scales, from micro to macro, examples of which are roots, lightnings, coastlines, snowflakes, mountains, the Mandelbrot set. Singularity is the quality or state of being singular, and a matrix is a set of conditions that provides a system in which something grows or develops. And so the set of conditions is the fractal singularity, which provides the system of creation, okay, which could also be called the Godhood. And I'll let y'all roll with that. But that's just kind of giving my perception of God right there.
And this sounds very much like my naturalism, which is
that's
odd.
weird.
I think the only place that we would differ is in you may place more emphasis on consciousness in the universe than I do. I think that's just a small blippy part, and the fractal universe is basically far beyond consciousness. Consciousness is just one of the little curls that develop in that fractal, basically.
Well, that's probably funny because me, I place a great emphasis on consciousness. I think actually consciousness is one of the biggest proofs for my perception of God. But I also say that darkness and light have their own built-in consciousness. I say darkness created the light. Darkness loves the light. It is not light versus dark. It is light with dark. A lot of followers of Abraham are dead set on dark versus light. It's very Zoroastrian.
Okay. Yeah, we'd probably get along on most things. We'd fight over the consciousness thing, but that's about it. The rest of it, this magical universe, like looking at a snowflake, particularly when I've ingested 4 grams of albino penis envy mushrooms, is just absolute magic.
Wait,
I mean,
did
it's just
you say
absolute magic.
albino?
Albino
right?
penis envy.
Oh yeah, I grew some albinos,
Oh yeah,
dude.
midnight penis.
Yeah.
Midnight he's whiter than we are.
Yeah, I'm an albino, unfortunately. Or fortunately,
Hey.
I don't fucking know.
Hey, midnight Sparkle's penis is so bright it glows in the dark.
Hey! Don't start like Paul hard, okay?
Oh man,
that was saved many a ship from running aground. So don't.
Midnight came to visit me once, but it was snowing. It was snowing, so I slammed the door in his face.
Yeah, it's like he was invisible or some shit. Yeah. But yeah, we give each other shit here, Dark-Light. I get what you're saying. What is the light without the darkness? What does it mean? What does the darkness mean without the light? Sorry.
Pure darkness is just as blinding as pure light.
Oh yeah. Pure darkness will freeze you solid. Pure light will burn you to your core if you stand in it long enough.
Now I have some but at those extremes, there's no difference between heat and cold. That they are both equally overpowering.
Hmm? Yeah, what was that old story, Daedalus and Icarus? You fly too close to the sun, you're gonna lose your wings.
Yeah.
So, and fall and die.
So, Dark-Light, what do you think of like the state of agnosticism, or not knowing, not being able to conceive of the totality of this thing, this God you talk about? Basically,
I would disagree with that statement because once again, that would circle us back to consciousness, and I believe that our consciousness is actually, the smallest quanta of that Godhood. So through our consciousness, that is proof of, I call it the omni-consciousness. But once again, like it is interwoven into our being. It's not something separate from us. And another thing I will say, that my perception of the one true creator, the only worship that he accepts is co-creators creating. He does, and it's not demanded of you, but it is inevitable of every person, which I call co-creators, to inevitably create something.
Yeah, and that kind of harkens back to this talk about morality, where I was saying that morality is our lived life. It's lived in the moment. It's created in the moment. We forge our morality at every moment of our lives, and we forge this creative. This everything we do is creative. We are active organisms, and we create constantly.
Well, the guy in the comment, Walsh, he was trying to say that. Fuck, I don't have it right in front of me, but he was trying to say something to the effect of, if everything is subjective, then that disproves the God as he sees it. But I actually think that proves the one true creator, everything being subjective, because if you really think about it, even the Abrahamic perception of the creator is entirely subjective, because it's subjective to the holy books that they stand on as their only words of their God as they perceive it.
The Abraham, there were no holy books.
But the Bible.
There was no Bible during Abraham.
No.
Well, I'm saying like the modern rendition,
Yeah, but Abraham, you have to go to Abraham's perception, since you just appealed to it. But in those narratives, Abraham had no scriptures. Abraham didn't have a Bible to go off of. He was dealing with God. In those narratives, he was dealing with God directly.
And what relevance does that have to my point? I was just asking, not being a smart ass, but I was just...
Because you appealed to the Abrahamic perception and then went to the Bible, but he didn't. Abraham, to be consistent, Abraham's perception of God wasn't because of something that he learned from scripture. According to those narratives, he had a one-on-one relationship with that entity.
Yeah, he had a direct.
And once again, that's presupposing that like him and only certain chosen people can and do have that relationship.
No, it's just based in the narrative. So if you read Genesis 18, God comes to Abraham's tent with two angels, and they talk.
But well, I'm talking about like the modern perception of Abraham is totally dictated by the modern Bibles, which everyone bases their perception off of.
But if you're doing a critique of based on Abraham's perception wasn't a perception based on Scripture. His perception was based on dealing with the entity one-on-one.
That's all great and well for Abraham, but I'm talking about everyone else that is basing their entire perception off of the Abrahamic theology, and the only way that
what is the Abrahamic theology?
What I will say that what makes Abrahamic theology broken is they constantly try to divide that which is united through sin. I don't believe in the construct of sin and evil.
And when you say Abrahamic theology, are you referring to the three primary religions that hold to the Abrahamic God: Christianity, Judaism, and Islam?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, because they have vastly different theologies to them, even though they're
based but they're all based off of the root of Abrahamic perception.
But historically, no, because Abrahamic perception was originally Judaism wasn't based in monotheism; it's a henotheism.
Oh yeah, I know. Which kind of disproves the whole claim of never changing God. Because actually, Yahweh was originally a part of a pantheon of gods. There was multiple gods, not just one.
Well, there's speculation on that. There's the El, and then there's the 70 Elohim, and that Yahweh
Ashra or Ashra, right?
He's one of the 70.
Well, you said he, but Ashra was supposed to be his wife.
Well, we know so little about the history of Yahweh that we don't know if he was part of a pantheon. We just know he was associated with a kind of
a mixed bag.
I can't remember their name. There's a sh sound in there, but he was involved with the culture in the Arabic regions, and somehow floated up north and was absorbed by Israel and Judah in that area, and wasn't part of the kinds of pantheons you find in the northwest there, in the northwest.
Yeah. The thing is though, since you're appealing to a one true creator, what is that one true creator?
Yeah.
That's the stuff that I read to y'all.
Yeah, but that sounded like you were presupposing the one true creator based on other things that you see. So it's like tree, therefore God. So it's because what you're espousing right now sounds like a form of like precept light. Like because we have X, because we have consciousness, therefore there's a one true creator. Right? That's kind of like the precept, because we have intelligibility, because we can make true propositions, therefore this is evidence of God's existence kind of thing.
Sure, we'll just roll with that. I don't understand what you're fully saying right there, but
because you're essentially, it seems like you're appealing to certain things as being products of a true creator without showing the true creator.
Well, I will come out and right out and say, and you won't hear much theists admit this, but if there was one single proof for one single God within the millions of proposed gods all throughout history, we wouldn't be having this conversation. That one group would be running around saying, we have the ultimate proof, so I never claimed to give a proof. I am giving a perception, because it's a working theory. It's not a dogma, it's a working theory.
But you are appealing that it is true that there is one true creator. So I'm asking you to justify the true creator without appealing to things that, because if you start appealing to things that are supposedly the products of that particular true creator, then you're just begging the question. So I'm trying to help you out here, because you believe
I'm giving my perception of what that true creator is.
Oh, okay, but so so it's all presuppositional. It's just you see X, therefore you presuppose Y.
Like I told y'all in the beginning, but what I perceive the difference between an atheist and a theist is, and I told you guys, no matter what, I will invent any mental gymnastics necessary to justify the perception of a magical world.
At least
I told
you're
y'all
honest about it.
Yeah, no, that's what I'm saying. You'll be hard pressed to hear a theist admit that.
Well, I mean, we get it. We get it. You want to play D&D. We get it. You want magic to be real.
Well, that's what I'm saying. Yes.
I would like magic to be real. But
magic is real, brother. Magic is real.
I have yet to get it to work. That's all I'm saying.
Well, check it out.
I did a saving roll for magic. I'm afraid it doesn't exist.
Oh, hey there, Simus.
Hello.
Oh, hey, Simon.
I'm not watching the screen, so I don't never know who's in or who's out.
Just Asherah. I think you were referring to Asherah, the Yahweh's wife, earlier.
Yes.
Anyway, just to say that. I was with you. I was listening to what you were saying. I did understand, but I think Jay's right.
Does anyone have anything for me? I don't, because I am working on my itinerary. I just wanted to hop in real quick and say hi and let y'all know what kind of weirdo you're dealing with here.
Yeah, I'm not going to push. I'm not going to push any further. I'll wear you out. Your gymnastics will go into overtime.
No, I like it. That's what I'm saying. Like I like these hard questions because I like to go back to the drawing board and keep the mental gymnastics rolling. You know, that's why I like hanging out with atheists.
I would look for an alternative to that word prefer, because I don't prefer a world with no God. I don't prefer a naturalistic world. That's just the one. I guess I prefer to be aligned with the truth.
Admit it, Scott. You want my rainbow. You want my rainbow colored unicorn shit gold bricks in my backyard. You want it. You're jealous.
I want that to happen.
Jealous of my rainbow, of my gold shitting rainbow colored unicorn.
Yes.
Admit it.
I think the poster boy for what you're saying is Alex O'Connor, because you can tell that he's so bad wants there to be essentially magic or a god. You can tell when he's talking. But he's like, I just can't make myself believe it. But
that's it.
So just is that kind of what you're saying?
I got something for you, Dark-Light. Basically, I want there to be a magical universe, and I believe there is, but I'm a strict naturalist and physicalist, and I find my magic in that unbelievable fractal complexity of the universe.
Magic has hit a modal collapse here.
How this brought us to where we are. So I'm not an atheist who doesn't want a magical universe. I've been that way pretty much all my life.
Well, you're a weird atheist then.
I started out as a secular Buddhist when I was like 15.
Oh, cool.
And for the last 25 years, I've nailed down physicalism and naturalism. So
I would just point out that atheism is strictly on, from my position, atheism is strictly on the position of whether it's in like an epistemic state of whether or not you're convinced God or gods exist. So you can be open to the supernatural, you can be open to magical, you can be open to demons and all sorts of weird things. And it's
we'll see. Although I believe in magic, I don't believe in supernatural. I don't like the word supernatural because anything that happens is natural. You know, just because we don't have an explanation for it currently doesn't mean it's supernatural. It just means we need a better naturalistic explanation.
So magical just means mysterious. Magical just applies to things that are mysterious that we just don't have better understanding of.
For me personally, just magical is just creation. You know, the most mundane things to me are magical. You know, which I admit I have a different definition of magical than most people.
But how do you know that this is creation? Which part
I got a great answer for that because I create. You know, because we are all fractal extensions of the one true creator.
But so you're saying that because we're true creators, therefore there must be a one true creator.
Yes, sir. Yeah. Essentially, yes, sir.
That's
I think he may have had a
question.
The other way around.
It is a very prettied up look at the trees argument. Yes, I realize that.
So, what do you think about evolution then? Do you think that?
I believe in evolution.
You do.
You don't believe?
I believe in evolution.
Okay, you believe in it. Okay.
So thank God. Thank God. He believes in it. No, just kidding.
Oh no, absolutely. Well, see, evolution is a driving force of creation. Like, it blows my mind how so many theists think that evolution disproves God somehow. You know, I just don't get that connection.
Yeah. Yeah, in some ways, I would ask you to be a little more humble about what humans are, but in some ways, I could agree with you that human beings, with our ability to create and reason, are kind of like the pinnacle of this fractal craziness that the universe
We'll
is.
check it out. I'm 75% narcissistic. Okay, I took the test, so humility is not in my nature.
Hey, before
well, that's probably why you think
Dark-Light,
consciousness is central.
Well,
before
like I told you, I will invent any mental gymnastics to justify me being God. That goes in line with my narcissism, and I'm cool with that.
Before you take off, tell everybody what you got going on this weekend.
Yes.
Oh man, dude. Okay, we'll check it out. It's the Alliance of Defiance. Okay, and that is pretty much because the followers of Abraham have it in their fucking dogmas that they're going to take over the world, and you know, and each one of them think that they're going to be the ones that do it. So in their scriptures, they call for the death of anyone that doesn't believe in their bullshit. And so the Alliance of Defiance is just the alliance of everyone who realizes that Abrahamic theology wants to kill them. And we all must join forces in order to resist the broken theology of Abraham. And I'm saying that as a believer in the one true creator.
Sunday morning?
Yes, sir. Sunday morning, 9:30 Central Eastern Time. And actually, dude, I'm all about shock factor and raw fucking brutal honesty. And like I said, I'm going to slam fuck YouTube in the ass Sunday morning.
There you go.
Ouch.
You guys want to see something confusing?
It's going to be a train wreck, and people are going to be extra organized. So I really like to have all my content planned out and shit. So it's going to be nonstop fucking badass content for a couple hours.
Okay, go work on that humility.
Yeah, is that why you?
I told you, ain't nothing humble about me.
Try to get rid of that last 25%, though. That's what's in your way.
Yeah.
No.
I'm sure we'll be waiting till you come back anyway.
Yeah, pick a team. Yeah.
I don't know. There's just something about me. I'm a fucking rebel, dude. I like being on my own island.
Yeah.
Oh, I remember being young and having enough energy to be rebellious. Oh,
Hey, thank you guys for having me on. I really appreciate it. Thank y'all.
Cue the song.
Yeah, and I approve of your take on things. So there you go. Bye.
Nice to meet you.
All right, y'all.
What a load of horse. No,
Wow. Wow.
I can see a lot in there that I would resonate with. Jay, I'm sorry.
Well, look, I've got something for you guys. It's in the back.
You're a slippery slope, Mike. You're a slippery slope.
Yeah,
Where?
I mean, let us all realize just how fucking teeny tiny we are if you can present what I put backstage. Yeah, look, we're like in the middle of fucking the backwoods of the universe, and all this shit is out there, and God did it all, I guess, just to fuck with us. Yeah.
Hey,
just
don't Clockwork. Don't underestimate our report is really tiny, but tiny things can do big things.
We are the cosmic.
Really?
Hey, you always say that, Midnight. You always say little guys can do big things.
He watched Alien Prometheus or Alien Covenant, and all of a sudden that line stuck in his head. Big things come.
Hold on. I haven't watched Alien Romulus. Okay, I just came up with the quote myself.
No, Alien Covenant.
Oh, Alien Covenant. I don't think I've ever seen Alien Covenant. So
he quotes a line.
Anything beyond the first two movies is crap.
No, Alien.
But wait a minute, my mind is projecting. My mind is projecting this entire universe.
I mean,
look, it's all about us.
My mind is projecting everything in the universe except my bedroom.
We covered a bunch of different views on how the different manifestation of the universe. There's including
Mike.
Bernardo and Wayne and some of these other folks we've talked about. There's a lot of ideas that are trying to make sense of the grand connection of it all, right?
Hey, look,
my bedroom is nothing to do with me.
Well, there's this line from Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy. The universe is really, really, really fucking big, okay? bigger than you can imagine.
Hey, Simon.
Especially when you lose your keys.
Hey, Simon.
Yeah.
Remember,
Hey, don't forget your towel, goddamn.
Simon, in Berkeleyan idealism, God is the one maintaining or sustaining your room being messy. By the way, just one.
Yeah.
Fantastic.
And that is the problem of evil, right?
Well, yeah. Nowhere in the Bible does it say, "Don't forget your towel." Does it? Not in the Torah, not in the Quran, not in the Talmud. It doesn't say, "Don't forget your towel."
Who here is ringing
the guide is my Bible.
Bells. Somebody's doing bells.
Oh, I am with. I'm playing with my kitty.
Oh, okay.
Oh, by the way, those images of the universe, I can get the same. I can create that myself if I bend over, bend over at the waist, close my eyes, sit there for about a minute, and then open my eyes and stand up real quick.
Try that on
I can get it if I just switch my phone camera light on,
well,
bend over, like you're saying, stick the camera behind my butt, get it up real close.
Yeah, I look.
Looks
and
exactly
you can
the
see,
same.
and if you do it right, you Uranus.
Yep, that's it.
Well, I mean, ever since I was 8 years old and my parents gave me a telescope for Christmas, I've been fascinated by astronomy.
Yeah.
Right on, clockwork. Woohoo!
Well, I mean, to think that this little blue speck of fucking is the center of the whole fucking universe, you're wrong.
Yeah.
You're fucking wrong. We're not special.
I don't know. I don't know.
I
don't know. I'm on the fence when it comes to that whole firmament thing.
The glass dome, man. It's the crystal dome with like jewels put in it. Is that? Yeah, the firmament.
That's what's happening to Elon's rockets. He keeps hitting the firmament.
Yeah.
Yeah, they keep cracking up. Yeah.
Yeah, my friend drove 100 miles the other day to see one of Elon's rockets launch, and it failed to launch.
So,
yeah,
my favorite thing is when they go like halfway and then they blow up, and everybody's like,
"Oh yeah."
He meant to do that. He blew it up halfway on purpose, and I was like, "No."
And they very
if only Elon's
they very
rocket
quickly
was
change
dependable
the
as sperm.
They very
Oh,
quickly
is that Jay?
change the screen after the rocket blows up. You know, they very quickly move on to something else.
I love watching the rocket launches. I've got a couple of different channels I follow, and they broadcast all these different rockets, you know, and all different times of day. And yeah, I've got it set, and I sit down, and I'm just fascinated, just watching it, you know, launch and go up. And it's like
Dave,
every time, I love that shit.
Yeah, leave it.
That's how I want to die. I want to strap myself to one of those fuckers when they go off.
Yeah, leave it to apes to freaking figure out a way to strap themselves onto a bunch of explosive fuel.
Either that or I want to launch a 20 megaton bomb.
Hey, you know what would be fun? You know it'd be fun if we make this in such a way so when it explodes, we direct the explosion right out the bottom, and then we're sitting on top of it.
Yeah.
That would be
Yeah, we are nothing but silly monkeys. Or apes, I guess.
Hairless apes.
Looks like I'm not going to get to the creationism today, or the intelligent design of it.
We already covered it.
Gosh.
We already covered it with Dark-Light. Come on, Mike. Well,
that was a different version.
Okay, did anyone notice him using the word allspark? Because like he was talking about
yeah, it's like he was talking about Transformers. Yeah. I was like the allspark. Wait a minute. And the Matrix. I mean, not to make fun of we all might live in the Matrix. We all might.
Is that from?
You are all just manifestations of my reality. You're just all manifestations of my reality.
Exactly. You're all manifestations of mine. There you go.
Yeah, I can just, you know, with a thought, you're gone. So you better behave yourselves.
You know, I wonder if Bug Universe has any anchors. The MCU multi.
Well, I've just got to say thank you so much, Dave. I really appreciate the size of my you-know-what.
I was thinking about you, Simos. I was thinking about you.
But why did you have to project him to look so goddamn ugly?
You know what? Do you know what anchors me to reality that we all share? Gravity.
Is it an anchor? Oh, okay.
No, it's gravity. It's gravity. Look, if any one of us got on the skyscraper and jumped off, we'd all fall at the same rate.
Yeah,
I'm telling you, I'm
Great
telling you,
equalizer.
it's just because of the air, man. The air is just not thick enough to hold us.
Well, as the guy that leapt off the building was heard to proclaim as he passed each floor, so far so good. Yeah.
So far, so good.
That's what I used to say to my dad all the time.
It's not the fall that kills you. It's sudden stop.
I intend to
It's
live
a sudden
forever.
stop. Yep.
I intend to live forever.
Sequel to the movie "Don't Look Up" is "Don't Look Down" either.
Right on, Samus. Living forever. Woohoo!
Yeah, I just like to be that. I just like to be that one person when somebody comes in here with that, with Dark-Light coming in here and just to joke when they leave and go, "What a load of absolute horse shit."
Well, I mean, in Dark-Light's case, there was some of that.
All I could hear was but when he started throwing it out, I could just smell precept without Christianity attached. I was like, "Yep."
Oh yeah. Really, is that any different an expression of theology than any other religion you've heard?
Oh no,
their theology.
No, not really. No.
Yeah, it's just a person's particular theology, personal theology. Does an institution support it? Probably not, but it's an individual theology.
He wants to engage, so go over there and engage, right?
Oh, and when he started to say something about agnostics, hey, look, that's my ultimate answer to is there a God? Is I don't fucking know. Which God are you talking about?
If I want that kind of mental gymnastics, I'll go to Richard Madson's channel and just go.
Fair enough. To the point where I don't care if your God exists outside of our time and dimension and universe and everything else. I don't care. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
it doesn't make any difference to me then. You know?
Yeah, it effectively does not exist here anymore.
Yeah, you're putting it so far out of reach of everything. Then okay, it's out there. I don't care. You know what I mean?
If it's there, show it. That's my position. If it's there, show it. But don't expect me to play,
patty cake with
try to invest in fallacious reasoning just to get to that when you don't have any examples of it to begin with. If you have an example of it, cool. Show it.
I want this motherfucker to calm down and just be like, okay, look, stop fighting. Here I am. Can we just stop fighting?
He can't come. He can't come down, Midnight. He's the one instantiating, sustaining all that exists.
Yeah, there you go. If you call him down, we'd all disappear.
How did I manage to manifest that in my reality?
Well, if we're made in the image of God, there's 50-50 chance he's scared of heights anyways.
Yeah, you're not wrong. You're not wrong, Sam.
I don't see any mushrooms.
Top Dog Speed is kind of showing a bit of irony there, and also saying, "Be afraid."
Yeah, irony,
very afraid.
Right.
Are those
afraid? Yeah.
Are those shiitakes? Are those shiitake?
Yeah, they're shiitake mushrooms. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, they're blue. They're called blue shiitake, and this right here is the other part of the equation.
That
you do what you got to do.
Yeah. That might get flagged. I don't know.
Yeah, I know.
No, he's not pointing it around. So no, I don't think so.
Yeah. Yep. You just got to have tools, man. You got to have tools on the desk.
You were talking about mind-altering substances earlier. Yes, I may have taken some of the LS Lucy in the Sky with Diamonds. And watched the damn Christmas tree for 6 hours.
Oh yeah, that Christmas tree.
Yeah, I was like hypnotized by it. The lights.
Yeah, it's the best show on earth.
That right there is the comment of the stream. What that person just wrote. Dude literally said he just makes up shit. Yeah.
Yeah, he did. Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah. Mike gets his tools and his mushrooms out there to make pizza stand back. He's got a unique style
when I have some mushrooms, I put that gun really far away from me, like as far as I can fucking. Like the other day, I was trying to open a fucking box of Q-tips, and I have a rule that when I take mushrooms, I will not use sharp objects, and I could not get that motherfucking box of Q-tips open. It's like I was beating on it, jumping on it, fucking threw it, ended up throwing it across the room.
Doesn't it have press and tear here? You know, those things always work, right?
Hey, Mike, look into on Amazon. They have these things called, they're by Canary, Canary. They're cardboard cutters.
Okay.
They're a safer way of cutting cardboard and cutting into boxes and stuff. They have a blunted end. They're kind of a fine serrated. Look them up. Those things are. Yeah. But yeah, I'm just saying,
like if you're bigger version of the first grade scissors.
Yeah, my kids have jokes about not letting me near sharp objects because every time I'm cooking, I fucking cut myself. And they were musing the other day about how much blood they've ingested in the food I prepared for them.
You're a vampire now.
Hey, as long as you cook it at the right temperature, it kills off all the.
I cook it at the right temp. Yeah, I cook.
The last time I was slicing and dicing, I was making whatever stew or whatever, you know, and I went through everything, sliced and diced everything without a problem. Right, was cleaning up everything, putting everything away, washed everything up, and as I went to put the knife away, I touched my finger with it and cut myself. It's like inevitable, you know what I mean?
I bought this fucking Ninja food chopper, and every time I take that Ninja out, I inevitably cut myself on those blades.
I did that on that too. Yeah, on the chopper.
God, I hate the Ninja.
Oh,
you guys do not go, Mike. Do not go anywhere near a freaking Vitamixer Pro. Those things, you can use that thing to process a body.
Look, don't even use like that shitty slap chop thing that they used to sell on TV. Yeah, you'll cut your finger off. Yeah. Be careful.
Slap chop? Oh, that's the chopper with the blades on the bottom, and you just hit the top plunger, and it. We had one of those.
I got the lever. I got the lever.
How long did it last? Oh, sorry.
What's that? How long did it last?
Yeah.
I think we sold it in a garage sale.
Oh, fair enough. I was just wondering. Sorry.
I used to work at an iron mine, and my uncle was the foreman, and my father worked there, so it's kind of a little mining company. And my uncle would tell me to go up and do crazy ass shit that I considered like unbelievably unsafe. And then I looked at my uncle's fingers; he had like 2 fingers left on his hands. Right?
Yeah, don't ever look at someone like that.
And one time, there was a screw. Okay, and the screw was 75 feet long and probably weighed, I don't know, 50 ton. And they had it jacked up on a couple of car jacks, and he wanted me to crawl under that screw and hose off the iron ore. And I said, Uncle, no. Call OSHA.
Was
Fuck you. I'm not doing it.
Mike, have you ever seen the movie Jack Reacher, the one with Tom Cruise? Was your uncle the Zach?
I'm not.
Oh, you haven't seen that?
No. Well, I've probably seen it, but
Werner Herzog's character in the movie Jack Reacher with Tom Cruise, he's called the Zach, and he's missing like almost every one of his fingers. So that's why.
Pretty damn intimidating.
Yeah,
that's what my uncle was.
Chew off your fingers. Yeah, this is the kind of person I am.
Yeah, I got close to this truck driver that I worked with at that mining company. He got killed. He backed the truck off the ore dump and fucking died. And my dad knows about 5 people that got killed in that goddamn thing. Oh, my dad had about 6 tons of scrap iron dropped on his leg once. They were not safe. They were just crazy ass small company, you know.
Both my grandfathers had damage to their hands. One lost part of a finger in a factory, and my other grandfather lost 3 fingers. He had almost half his hand he lost.
Yeah.
So you can thank all those little safety cages and e-stops and everything they got now, because they didn't have them then. There went your fingers, and they gave you like $5,000 or something. And
you know, if you got all your fingers left when you die, you ain't a Republican.
I got something for you naturalists here.
Oh,
since it just reminded me of Werner Herzog.
Dr. Ainley, is there such thing as insanity among penguins? I try to avoid a definition of insanity or derangement. I don't mean that a penguin might believe he or she is Lenin or Napoleon Bonaparte. But could they just go crazy because they've had enough of their colony?
Well, I've never seen a penguin bashing its head against a rock. They do get disoriented. They end up in places they shouldn't be, a long way from the ocean.
These penguins are all heading to the open water to the right.
They're all rebels.
But one of them
the
caught
rebels.
our eye, the one in the center. He would neither go towards the feeding grounds at the edge of the ice, nor return to the colony.
That's the Jack Reacher of penguins.
Shortly afterwards, we saw him heading straight towards the mountains, some 70 kilometers away. Dr. Ainley explained that even if he caught him and brought him back to the colony, he would immediately head right back for the mountains. But why?
Why?
Yeah, wait.
This sounds like a dialogue between me and my father when I was a kid.
It keeps going, but like one part he goes, he's certainly headed to his doom.
He's going to go stop evil and help people.
Oh, you want to see something sad? Is the moose with the deer tick virus or whatever, where it goes into its brain, and the poor thing's just wandering around in circles.
Oh shit! Yeah,
just wandering around in circles. It's so sad.
There is a Werner Herzog one that I need to find, and it's about the guy that spent time amongst the bears. They did a movie about him.
Oh, I think I've got that quote.
Oh, the one that got killed?
Computer.
Was that the one that died?
Yeah, and Werner Herzog had commentary on it, and it's absolutely hilarious. He's like, yeah, we didn't see that coming. He got ate by a bear. No shit.
But to circle back to the deer for a minute. If I could circle back to the deer for a minute, we got that around here. That's why I do not hunt deer anymore. It's like mad cow disease, except in deer. Yeah.
What are they?
Sad.
Wait,
The
ticks? Wait, the ticks have some kind of communicable prion disease or something?
The brain parasite.
Yeah.
It goes into the brain, and they just get all,
disoriented.
It's like mad cow disease.
Yeah, it's like
deer that don't have ticks will kill you. I mean, you can get killed by a deer pretty easily. They jump up and they come down with their hooves. And if you've ever, occasionally they'll attack you.
That's if they
there was this,
back. Yeah. I mean,
there was this really cool thing that happened here in Minnesota. About maybe in central Minnesota, this guy from out of state came deer hunting for the first time. And he was at some motel, out near the country, and he walked out into the woods, and this deer treed him, and he called the police on his cell phone. So the police showed up. Minnesota cop comes out there. It's like, the foreigner is afraid of the deer, and the deer gored the cop.
Oh, fuck.
Yeah, it's one of those things that it has different life cycles, and it passes through animals, and then it gets back into them because of their feces and, in the grass or something. And then when it hits that certain stage and they're eating any of that grass, it goes right to the brain, I guess.
Well, back in the day,
it's really sad. It is.
Well, back in the day, they thought the Black Plague was spread by rats. Well, they were half right. It was the fleas on the rats that would bite the people and give them the Black Plague. It's kind of something like that, I think. So watch your ass when you're out in the woods and shit.
Well, that's how animals normally get, like cats and dogs get tapeworms.
Mm-hmm.
Right. Yeah.
Because the larva for the tapeworms is in the fleas.
Yep.
Oh, I hear a cat.
It's intelligent design.
I was looking around for mine. I'm like, where's it? Oh wait, mine doesn't wear a bell.
God
created. Look. Here's the thing. God created us as a special race of humans that look just like God, but everything else He created around us was made to kill us.
Yeah, it's like this thing needs a tapeworm.
Yeah, exactly.
Let me get busy making some worms there. Yeah.
Now, I found a quote from Grizzly Man. Can I take a moment and read it and see if this is what Jay remembers? Any takers? Hello?
Yeah, go ahead.
Is it from Werner? Is it from Herzog?
Yes, it's the Werner quote. He was narrating Grizzly Man. So I'm going to read it to you, see if that's what you remembered. I'm not going to try his accent.
Yeah, don't.
And what must be is that in all the faces of all the bears that Treadwell ever filmed, I discover no kinship, no understanding, no mercy. I see only the overwhelming indifference of nature.
Yeah.
To me, there is no such thing as a secret world of bears. And this blank spare speaks only of half-bored interest in food. For Timothy Treadwell, this bear was a friend, a savior. Does that sound like it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
That some of it gets better, but yeah, there's nothing like a Werner Herzog documentary to just cheer you the fuck right up.
Yeah, this dude's insane. Herzog is insane. I mean, come on now. He shot a guy on one of his movies.
Who, Herzog did?
Yeah.
I thought that was Alec Baldwin. Alec Baldwin.
No,
there's another one.
This was the one where they were moving the boat over the mountain or some shit, and he like shot a dude in the leg. Fuck, I can't remember the name of the movie. Damn it!
It's like an accident, or
well, sort of.
Sort of.
Oh no, he was.
Well, I mean, if you know Herzog, yeah.
Well, the only one I can find is he got shot in the abdomen by somebody with an air rifle.
Oh man.
The thing was, Mike, is the concept of taking a boat.
What's the name of the movie?
It's not that interesting, so he had to give the film some content.
Yeah.
I think he just shot the guy in the leg to make it a bit more difficult.
Well,
okay.
Yeah. In 2006, Werner Herzog was shot in the abdomen while giving an interview on Skyline Drive in Los Angeles. The shooter was a fan with an air rifle. Herzog continued the interview without seeking medical attention, saying, "It's not significant."
Oh no!
Damn.
Yeah, that's my kind of guy.
You're probably right. I probably got that wrong. How do you spell his fucking name? W-E-R.
Werner, W-E-R-N-E-R, and then Herzog is H-E-R-Z-G-O-G. Or no, I'm sorry.
There you go.
Herzog.
Yeah.
Oh, he's a feller. Yeah, I don't know much about him, as much about him as I'd like to, but what I do know, he's just he's a unique individual.
Oh, he's hilarious. When somebody entered, my brother found that, and for a while that was like my brother, Doubting Thomas, and myself. That was like a running gag. We would, but why? When it did that penguin thing was just, why do they do this? But why?
Yeah, well, obviously it's to, he probably just wanted to snowboard down the mountain or something.
Mm-hmm. He's heading in the wrong direction. Is this such a
thing? He had a plan.
Insanity and penguins.
What was
the highlight in that? What was the highlight in that video? Was that JG talking with Lionheart, Mike?
Yeah.
Why do you guys? Why?
That's a highlight.
What was funny is the other day I was over on Tog was doing a live stream, and he had between the two of them, they might have been able to light a low wattage bulb. It was Jill and JG, and they were going. Tog was going over that debate between Andrew Wilson and Cliff, Fight the Flat Earth, and it was funny because Jill was basically trying to tell me that scholars don't make it. Scholars, it doesn't matter because they get a degree and then all of a sudden, they know everything kind of thing. And it was interesting that he was telling me that while I was in the live chat, and when I was having a long back and forth with him on one of his comment threads, he told me to go look up scholarship. to refer to scholarship on the Israelites or the Israelites' idea of ownership was what he wanted. You need to show me scholarship that their idea of ownership was the same as ours is today. And I'm like, yeah, kind of. But
you know what?
That's mine, right?
So that just goes to show you, right, with Jill, how many people do you think he knows that have degrees? If he thinks that once you have a degree, you know everything. Because I don't know about you, but the further you go up in education, the more caveats get thrown into any random statement that they say, right? You speak to a PhD and they go, well, of course, there are other people who might think differently about this, but...
Yeah, Leo, is it not coming over my mic? Yeah, I know his name is Craig.
Oh, Craig, yeah.
Yeah, Craig. Fight the flat earth. Craig. Yeah.
Sounded like you said Cliff.
Okay, I found.
Did it? Maybe I did. Sorry.
It might have been a slip of the tongue.
Slip of the tongue. Yeah, it's Craig. Yep.
Oh, you're in deep shit now. Yeah.
Six are going out.
That's what James thought earlier, that you were talking about Cliff and Stewart. What is their last name? Canoodles.
Connectly, I think is how it's pronounced.
Connectly.
Yeah.
Spiderweb in. We just spiderweb it in. Yeah.
Which is just a pronunciation in any language you want to say it in.
Cliff Connectly's a clown.
Well, I put I put Werner Herzog's IMDb page in the back chat. So yeah, it's one of those movies where he shoots somebody. I fucking swear. I watched a documentary about it, and he shot somebody on a movie set one time. It was back in the 80s. Might have been in the 70s. I didn't look at all his movies. He's done a shit ton of.
We were messing with one of our buddies one day, and he went and ran and got his BB gun. And he shot me right in the thigh with it. That thing stings.
Oh, dude, I was riding my dirt bike when I was, I don't know, I could have been 14, 15. Dude shot at me with a BB gun and hit me in the fucking helmet. If I hadn't been wearing the helmet, he'd have hit me in the head.
Yeah, some of those fuckers can be fatal, depending on the strength of the gun.
Oh, if it had hit me in the eye, I'd have been blind.
Well, I saw him pumping it up, and I'm like, oh man! So I started running.
26.
So I wasn't very. I was a little distance away by the time he pumped it up, and I had a big old welt on my thigh. I think he was trying to shoot me in the hands.
I knew somebody that had one permanently embedded under their skin. They had it there for years. Somebody served within the military. It's like on their pec. They got shot. They got shot. I think they were at a pool party or something. One of the kids brought out a pellet gun and shot him, and it got up underneath there and it just stayed there.
Yeah. I got hit by a car on my bicycle when I was a kid, and years later, a piece of asphalt came out of my belly.
Yeah, I was pounding iron
itching, and I thought it was a zit or something, whatever, And it wasn't a little piece either. It was a decent sized chunk of asphalt came out of my stomach. Yeah, it was just embedded in my skin.
I was pounding iron in the garage for some reason, and a piece flew off and hit me in the chin, and it bled. And then it healed up, and there was kind of a black spot on my chin. And then like about 9 months later, I rubbed my chin and something sharp caught me, and I took tweezers and pulled that little chunk of iron out. It just sat.
Yeah.
Eventually, it grew out. It was like, what the hell? Thor, what are you doing to my screen?
Hey, Clockwork Rex, check the private chat and see if one of those two movies is the one you're thinking about.
Wrath of God and Fitzcarraldo.
Oh, hang on. Okay. Let me look.
I think the only Herzog movie I've ever seen is the one with Christian Bale in it.
Oh, wait, which one was that? I know the one you're talking about.
It's the POW one.
Yeah. Okay.
Oh, yeah, that was a good movie. But I can't remember his name.
What was the other video you had, Mike? Was it on evolution or something? So the other one that ticked you off?
Yeah, that's a topic for another day. That was on Origin of Life stuff. That was who the hell was it?
Okay.
Was it Matt?
Well, I was talking to some people about movies, and we were talking about Psycho, the one with Anthony Hopkins, and his mom and shit. And somebody tried to say, "No, that's American Psycho." I'm like, "No, it's fucking not. American Psycho is a completely different movie."
Yeah, right. Christian Bale. That's a newer movie. Yeah.
And it did not sink in. They would not
mother.
Jay, were you thinking of Empire of the Sun?
No, it's Rescue Dawn.
Rescue Dawn. Okay.
Yep. No, Empire of the Sun is Spielberg.
Okay, that was a good movie.
Oh, that's the one with Brad Pitt where they went to Tibet. No, that's 7 Years in Tibet.
That's 7 Years in Tibet.
Yeah. Sorry, my bad.
Empire of the Sun is when Christian Bale was a kid. He was 12, I think.
Oh shit. Okay. Then I guess it has been a while.
Well, I got a video for y'all. I got a video for y'all for Saturday. There is no such thing as an atheist.
Oh, good. I'm glad to hear that. I hate those fucking atheists. I'm glad they don't exist.
I'm going to unmanifest. I'm going to unmanifest all atheists on Saturday.
Wow. What do you wear to something like that? An unmanifestation?
Is that what
that Dark-Light?
Whatever you want.
Dave, is that one of those people that tries to say that if you're talking about God, then you're not an atheist, then you must believe? That kind of bullshit.
If you're an atheist, you worship yourself, so that's still a deity, I think, is the argument.
Oh, that's even worse.
Yeah, that's worse.
Yeah, I was hoping he was just going to bring a priest up.
We have a reputation at Saturday night at the Atheist to uphold, and we do not have high quality stuff.
Sounds like my channel, Dave. Way to go.
The way I say it is fruit so low you'd call it a vegetable.
It's for fun. Well, a lot of us do serious content and stuff, and the Saturdays are just for fun. You know what I mean? So a lot of the stuff is a little out there.
The toast guy and
the toast
guy,
toast
and ketchup. Toast and ketchup.
Yeah.
He was great.
So yeah, and I've been trying to keep it to small channels. Okay, so it's a lot of folks' unique little thing, rather than a lot of the bigger channels are almost a repeat of something else. So they tend to be a little more personal. You know what I mean? They're letting their own little story kind of come out when they're doing their thing, and a lot of us notice certain aspects of their personalities that we bring up. But Wayne is pretty tough to beat. Wayne believes in some kind of universal consciousness, and you can manifest in like inanimate things like a toaster. And
who's Wayne?
Wayne is what the heck's the name of his channel? I don't remember, but his name is Wayne.
Church of something, eh?
I'd have to look.
But he does believe in evolution. He does believe in evolution because he thinks if a toaster tries, it can evolve into a fish.
Yeah.
Yep.
You have to want to evolve.
You have to want to learn to wiggle your tail. If you want to wiggle your tail, you can evolve into a fish.
And again, he's the one. He
sounds
he
crazy.
Has his own. Yeah, he has his own theory of everything, right?
Crazy, but that's
perfectly natural. It's a theory of everything, and he's got
your first kiss is across
consciousness thing, and
your first kiss is across the street.
Yeah, all time is happening simultaneously, so you don't need memory because everything is happening simultaneously.
Yeah, so you don't need a brain for memory. You don't need your brain for memory because everything is happening right now.
Oh, that's all right.
Right.
Most women would agree. Guys are always thinking with their dicks anyway. So
yeah.
Yeah, I'm worried though because my first kiss happened when I was about 9.
Yeah.
Saturday
Mine was
evenings, Jay.
11.
If you're free, drop by. We have unique videos that we take a look at.
Well, who is it? Can you show me a snippet of this Wayne's? I've never heard of this individual. I think you had. Wait,
it'd be hard
didn't you have a post on your channel, Dave?
Yeah, I can.
I think I saw it. Didn't you do like a community post on that?
Yep, to make sure to practice manifesting with your toasters. Hey, I got another sub. All right, getting closer.
Let me see here. I got a transcript of the link. Or solution. No. Okay. Made by Jim Bob. What the fuck? That one's untitled.
Okay, look, I walk away to get a beer and let a beer out, and everybody gets quiet. Sorry.
That's what you get for going to get a beer.
Well, fair enough.
Here's the link, Mike.
Where is it in private? Were you putting it private chat or what?
I put it in private. Here's our stream on Wayne there.
Oh, let's see here. Oh, my cat's got cat hair in my mouse. Damn it, cat. Cat. My cat put cat hair in my mouse and it's not working.
The pasty, institutionalized guy.
Why Matt Dillahunty's skepticism?
Yeah, I'll watch part of that.
Why Matt Dillahunty's skepticism is rooted in stupidity.
Well, I mean, if the dude took a shower and washed his hair, he might have a little more.
I know.
I mean, I'm just saying, you know,
little greasy.
Real
little bit of bedhead looks like some. I don't know.
Well, I'd never take a shower or comb my hair or wash it before a stream, but notice you never see me on camera very much.
Well, we're gonna do him again because he's still got stuff about. I think he talks about Dawkins, Richard Dawkins, and I have one on him talking about pyramids. I still have material from Wayne, so we can always go back to Wayne again.
No, man.
Yeah, this guy is
Brainless was there. Brainless was there. Oh shit.
Yeah, Brainless joins us. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I know Brainless. Me and Brainless and Slim and Commander and Dog.
Yeah, that's
right.
Even though I tolerate Dog. Yeah, that's right. I know you from Slim's stream too. Okay. Yeah.
Somewhere in the beginning, he's talking about one thing, and then all of a sudden he blurts out toasters or something about what the fuck. You remember that?
He made me cuss.
I can't remember where that was. It was just great.
It was probably just before that he got hauled to the breakfast, in the lunchroom there at the adult care
He's
center.
going on and on and on and on, and then all of a sudden, and that leads us right back to the toasters. And I let slip
and then
out, oh fuck me.
And then when he's talking about the toaster, when he's talking about the toaster, all of a sudden he says, "And the ketchup."
Well, you're trying to follow some kind of an argument, right?
Well,
because we're trying to be fair, right? We're trying to follow what's the all the strings and the tacks we're always joking about, right?
We're doing
all of a sudden he just said toaster, and it was just like, what?
We're doing the Deadpool connection board. Yeah, so yeah, we'll get there.
Cliff Connectly? Who's that?
Connectly.
Connectly.
He's one of these college campus harassing
Annoyances.
students,
Yeah.
drawing an audience. He leans in. He leans in really funny. I don't know if he had like a accident and hurt his back or something, but he's just creepy. To me, he would be creepy to be around in person. If he looks like one of those guys who just violates personal space. He gets a little too close.
Oh yeah.
To talk to you,
and it's a father and son team too. Yeah, he's got a father and son team going on too.
No, that's his brother.
Oh, his brother.
That's his younger brother, I think.
I thought it was his son.
It's Cliff and Stewart,
I thought
whatever they are.
I thought they were brothers. So
Are
this
you
is funny. Tangelo writes, the only place where naturalism exists is in the fertile and wishful minds of atheists. Then I asked which branch of naturalism. He came back with philosophical.
Philosophical naturalism.
So I went, wow, never mind. Apparently he doesn't know the difference.
That's why
Look,
we don't listen.
if people paint me into a corner and say, look, you've got to believe in something, right, don't you? I'm like, okay, I'm Druid. I'm a true neutral. Look, plants sustain us. We sustain the plants. They breathe out oxygen. We breathe out carbon dioxide. Hey, it's a symbiotic relationship.
It's the stupidest thing to ask. You got to believe in something. There's lots of things that you believe in.
Yeah.
You believe there's all sorts of things that you can believe. You believe that tomorrow will probably be similar to today. So that's inductive, but it's still a kind of a justified belief, right? So I don't understand why people go, well, what do you believe? Well, I believe that I'm going to have to let my dog out in the next couple hours before it shits on my floor.
Yeah.
I believe in lots of things, right? Just like I could say, I believe that gods don't exist. Well, what's your justification for that? We can go into that.
We got to know Tangelo. Oh no. The only place where naturalism exists, I won't call you a name, Tangelo, but how do you live? How do you feed your children?
He gets into science. He gets into empiricism. Empiricism and naturalism kind of go like literally hand in hand.
Oh my God, it's pretty bad there, no Tangelo.
You know, I asked,
not if it's an immaterial mind that transcends time and space.
Slim's covering creepy cryptids.
You know, the problem is that we're primates and we're not smart enough to understand our own minds, and that's where all this bullshit comes from, because we aren't smart enough to understand how our minds work. That's where we get stupid.
My wife's
consciousness.
My wife's a school psychologist. She's still trying to figure out mine.
Oh yeah.
Hey, look,
we have yet to figure out the human mind. Don't write it off yet as a project.
Yeah.
Hey, bro, Joe, how you doing?
Speaking of minds, I did a thing a couple days ago, and I was in kind of a zone where every time I closed my eyes and I moved, I could see myself move in the future, and it was completely disconnected from what I was doing, and time just kind of started swirling around in a big circle. What do you think happened?
You had lag on your webcam.
Oh my God. It was like it's like, okay, I moved to pick up a blanket, and I swear I could see the movement happening before I actually picked up the blanket. And then every time I closed my eyes, I would stop action forward in time. And I finally decided just to lay there and drool. And I decided that drooling was okay. I decided, so I got a bunch of Kleenex.
What's the neurological term for lag?
Yeah, exactly. Are you buffering? Are you buffering?
Brain fart.
Yeah. I was buffering. My fucking brain was, and then like my right and left ears disconnected, so I was hearing like two different songs from it was anyway. Yeah. So I was experimenting with something.
What a long, strange trip it's been.
It was a long, strange trip. 2 hours I landed, and then I said, what the fuck just happened? What the fuck happened to me?
Touchdown.
I've heard descriptions of DMT that are like that. Yeah. Anyway.
Field goal. He got the field goal.
Metaphysical naturalism, the view that about the nature of reality, it holds that everything that exists is part of the natural world. Of course it fucking is. What the hell? What the hell is?
Yeah, but the thing is that he was the one that just said it was philosophical naturalism, and I said metaphysical naturalism. Then he said real, and then he basically defined realism, and then I was like, okay, that's realism. I think that's just realism. But with metaphysical naturalism rejects the supernatural basically outright. Methodological naturalism is kind of open to it. It doesn't reject the supernatural.
Right.
It's willing to accept it if it can be demonstrated.
Yeah, if you can prove it. If you can turn gold into lead, hey, fuck, you're magic, motherfucker. There you go.
Right, bring it on.
Yep. If
I don't
alchemy
know.
if alchemy becomes a thing, that'll be sweet.
So philosophical, I'd never heard of that actually. Philosophical, that
Because
broader
it's just
worldview.
it's all philosophy. It's all part of philosophy. It's just there's metaphysical
Yeah.
naturalism, there's methodological naturalism.
Philosophical naturalism is the view that everything is natural.
I don't know what the hell
All that
he's talking
exists is
about.
the natural world. Yeah.
But
I
Otangelo
thought that
is
was
a
just
naturalist.
I thought that was just realism.
It's naturalism, but
I mean,
methodological naturalism is the only epistemic kind of access we have is through naturalism.
Well, okay, I got one more video for y'all to make us feel really fucking teeny tiny in the vast scope of the universe. Look, if I wanted to believe in magic, if I wanted to believe in a magical universe, it would be one where the force exists, or you could use it for good and evil. Yeah, I mean, if there was some kind of all magical mystical force binding us together, well, fuck, then we'd be able to demonstrate that, wouldn't we?
There we go. Then you're a naturalist, Otangelo.
Yeah. Okay. Well, fair enough. Here we go. But yeah, I turned the sound off because it's more like Star Trek theremin music. Because that gets irritating.
Yeah. So according to the Oracle, ChatGPT, there's metaphysical naturalism, the belief that only natural things exist, no supernatural entities like God or spirits. Everything follows natural laws. Methodological naturalism, the approach that science should only use natural causes and explanations, even if supernatural things exist. Epistemological naturalism, the idea that all knowledge comes from experience in science, not divine revelation and purely abstract. And then ethical naturalism, the view that moral truths exist and can be discovered through nature, science, or reason rather than supernatural commands. Logical naturalism, scientific naturalism, biological naturalism, and aesthetic naturalism. There's 8.
Oh my God. Okay.
So which naturalism do you want to go with, Otangelo?
What are we looking at here? What is the last image? Is that like a star system or?
That's like the core. We're zooming in to the core. Hang on, let me back it up. Let me back it up.
Oh, so
we're zooming the box around it is what we're zooming in on. With Alma, hang on, wait.
Is that like the nebula? Or?
That's like the center.
Wow.
What the fuck is that? What the fuck is that?
I don't know.
That's hey, look, we're taking a picture of it, so it's there.
It's there.
Yeah. What the fuck is it?
I don't know.
Well, this could be like
it looks like the remnants of like a supernova or something. Maybe I'm not sure. I don't know what the hell that would be.
Well, that looks like the core, like a neutron.
Yeah.
Star left over, and this is being pulled apart by something in the middle here.
It says this A109 is a gravitationally lensed system of 2 galaxies. The nearer galaxy is approximately 2 billion light years from Earth and is designated ST while the lens gravity is 10 billion light years from Earth and is designated 1IO9.
So this was a long, long time ago in a galaxy far, far, far away. Kind of like Star Wars. So But I mean.
So the one around the outside is the lens galaxy. And that's 10 billion light years away, and the one right nearest is 2 billion light years away.
What is that again? I'm sorry, I was reading something and then typed something and.
Here's all the text for it. Yeah. Got it?
What the hell?
Well, I mean, it's public, so you should be fine. Which is weird. It does that.
Clear distinction between physical stuff and mind. Yeah, because you're a primate and you don't understand mind. Your mind is confusing you.
What's your
problem?
Tell me, could you put in syllogism form what your argument for dualism is, please?
Yeah.
Mind-body dualism. Mind-body dualism.
He's
Go,
saying,
go, go, go.
Angelo's saying there's a distinction between the two, and I'd like that to be demonstrated with an argument.
A distinction between what? I must have
mind and nature or physical.
Whatever.
Physical and mind.
Oh.
What did he say?
Oh, gotcha.
I don't know. I can't read it because it's not on that page. But yeah.
Okay, right here. I think there's a clear distinction between physical stuff and mind.
There you go.
Like what physical stuff? Like you mean clay or oranges or and mind? I don't know.
I always like to use. I always like to remind myself of this: that what walking is for legs is what mind is for brain.
Yeah.
There we go. Brojo said,
if you don't have a brain, you don't have mind. Just like if you don't have legs, you don't have walking.
Brojo said they made Daen Dark-Light 100 subscribers. So there you go.
Angelo, if you could put into premise, conclusion form, a syllogism, rather than just a spewed sentence, which doesn't mean that much.
Yeah, tell me why electrons and atomic particles will not transform into intentions, will, self-awareness, and consciousness. Tell me why.
Straight on premise, conclusion format.
It must be from a mind. It must come from a mind, and that mind is the Christian God.
Otherwise, don't bother. Because you're not saying much. If you're not putting it in a logical format.
Here is my book for sale on Amazon. Please buy my book on Amazon. It is a hell of a headache. I remember just doing the preview. I was like, holy shit.
Yeah. And when you do that, we're also going to need premise 2 explained, if you can give a justification.
Premise one is appealing to necessitarianism.
Okay, well, that's premise 1 is false. Premise 1 is false.
That might be appealing to necessitarianism, which is hard determinism.
Intention, self-awareness, consciousness are non-physical. Okay, you're begging the question a bit with that one. Phenomena that involves subjective experience. That is total bullshit. My goodness.
We're going to need justification for premise 2.
Yeah, we're going to need a lot. We're going to need a whole lot.
Premise 1 is false anyway, dude. So,
Yeah.
Run this through. So premise 1.
Therefore, electrons and oh my god, this is pretty weak. Angelo, even for you.
Jay,
natural laws don't govern anything. They're descriptions.
Yeah.
Fair enough. Who was that guy that always, whenever you pressed him, he said you need to buy my book and read my book? Who was that guy? He was from.
Oh shit! Buy my book.
You know who I'm talking about. You know exactly who I'm talking about.
Was that Jensen? The what the hell's his name? Jensen, Nathaniel Jensen from AIG. That guy.
He says that all the time.
Did you read my book?
Yeah, it's you need to buy my book and read my book, or you don't understand what I'm talking about. I'm like
Nathaniel Jensen.
Yeah, it's fucking horseshit. Yeah.
Yeah. He's such a whiny little guy. He just whines because nobody's taken him seriously, and he showed us everything. I mean, he showed us that Native Americans basically came over here in 400 AD because they were running from the Romans. I think was his idea.
Yeah, I mean
400 AD.
Doesn't Behe say that too a lot? Well, it's in my book. It's in my
book.
Well, it's in my book.
Oh, in my book. Yeah.
If you want to get into the whole Jesus in America thing, we can talk about Mormons if you want to. I mean, at least they won't come after us like Scientology. So, yeah.
Do I have to put on magic underwear?
Yeah.
Hey, Rick,
of consciousness.
Don't knock the magic underwear, remember.
Hey.
Well, I'm
magic
curious. I'm curious.
We create our own realities so we can create magical underwear.
They might truly be magical. They may, they seem very happy all the time. Maybe there's something going on there.
Well, it's like be happier.
I think I saw a picture of that underwear, and I would not be happy if I had that shit on.
Hey, look, the kid from Silver Spoons, Ricky Schroeder, was a Mormon, and yes, he did say on Howard Stern, I think, that he wore the magic underwear. So yeah.
Oh my.
It's like a onesie. Yeah, it's like that old school shit, except white.
Okay.
Yeah, an ex-Mormon was talking about that, and the magic underwear is supposed to protect you from car accidents. And she said, "What about my head? What about my head?" She was like, when she was a kid, she was worried about her head, right, getting crushed. It's like, that's important too. Put some underwear on that shit.
That's a good point. That's a good point.
That's a good point. Right.
Smart kid.
Yeah.
Well, I ran his argument through ChatGPT, the Oracle.
Yeah.
No, it's not valid. The syllogism commits the category mistake fallacy and assumes a false dichotomy between physical and non-physical properties. 1, questioning premise 2, it assumes that consciousness, will, and self-awareness are entirely non-physical. However, modern neuroscience strongly suggests that these phenomena are deeply tied to brain activity, which is composed of physical neurons and electrochemical interactions. If consciousness emerges from complex arrangements of physical particles, then premise 2 is at best incomplete or misleading. Hidden assumption. The argument assumes that something purely physical cannot give rise to something with subjective experience, but it does not justify why this would be the case. This is begging the question. It assumes what it is trying to prove.
And that's why it's not valid.
Yeah, invalid conclusion, category error. The conclusion assumes that because electrons and atomic particles as individual units do not exhibit intention or consciousness, then any system made of them also cannot, which is a category error. How to debunk it in simple terms. Challenge the dualistic assumptions. Why assume consciousness is strictly non-physical. Point out emergent properties. Complexity from simple physical things can lead to new properties. Highlight the category mistake. Yeah, Otangelo, you may just want to like invest some time and like run your arguments through fucking ChatGPT before you go espousing that shit on here.
Hey.
Oh, before you cut paste them from someone else who is equally as vapid.
The non-physical nature of consciousness refers to subjective experiences. What the hell are those? Thoughts and self-awareness.
Is it? Let me ask it. Let me ask it. Is it structurally valid?
Jay, can you do me a favor?
I didn't see any mention of toasters in there anywhere, so I'm just going to deny that it's part of my manifestation.
Oh, I'd have to turn it into symbols.
It says that it's logical in the sense that it's premise, and conclusion. It says it's that's fine.
Yeah.
But it's ambiguous.
I don't think you can use the conclusion in one of the premises.
Yeah,
have it be valid.
It doesn't follow for the. It's basically non sequitur. Yeah, it says key logical issues, ambiguous definitions, category error, and hidden assumptions. So structurally valid, yes, it follows a standard logical form in that sense. Sound, no, because premise 2 is questionable and assumes a strict dualism that is not necessarily true.
Oh, definitely not sound. 1 and 2.
Yeah.
Premises that can be
disputed.
I feel.
Well, yeah, one is too vague because it says it's governed. So when you say it's governed, Otangelo, do you think that the laws of nature are basically like written code instructing everything how to perform in reality? Because if you do, that's hard determinism. That's necessitarianism. So you might want to be careful with that one.
Anyway, that's fun. Nice little distraction.
Yeah, that was fun. Yeah.
Shoot down jewelers. Doesn't take long.
Hey, Jay.
I actually like a lot of philosophers are dualists. Atheist philosophers that are dualists. And so I through the book, which they keep citing to or kept citing to me. And I read through this book like 150 pages. I can't remember exactly what the guy's name was. But like every time he put it in syllogistic form, he had the same begging the question fallacy. Every single time he would use a word like, well, you know, we have intentional thoughts and that shows it. You go, well, intentions, there you go.
We have unintentional thoughts too. Thoughts. How does he explain that?
Just saying thoughts are in thoughts. Okay. Every single time. And then eventually I had a long, like a debate with Ozymandias, who was defending dualism. And I just said
really?
at the end, yeah.
Ozzy was? Wow.
Yeah, that's right, yeah. And in the end, I just went like, well, you know, he gave me an example of why the particular logic that he was using was valid, or sound, I should say. And I just debunked that example, which obviously didn't disprove his argument. but at the same time was enough to make me go, well, you'll have to do better, you know.
Well, yeah, you can land on it even being valid. It doesn't mean that anything. I mean, you can make a valid argument for my gold-plated unicorn in the backyard, but it doesn't mean that it's the case. So,
indeed, I mean, if you give an example for something and it turns out to be false, then although that doesn't debunk the argument, it certainly doesn't give you any confidence in believing it.
There is this assumption that we can introspect our own mind, and you can't. Okay, it's absolutely impossible. And
you would be using your mind to do it.
You're using your mind to do it, right? And if you start using your mind to introspect your mind, time has moved on, and now you're somewhere else, right? So you're only remembering a little bit of what you think happened. You're remembering what you think happened a few seconds ago, but now you're missing what's happening right now. So now you have to reset again and say, oh, what was I conscious of, or what am I conscious of right now? And the reason it seems like you can do that is because if you stare at a red cup, okay, you're still staring at the red cup, and it seems like as you're moving through time, it seems like you're actually catching yourself, watching yourself being conscious, right? The red. Oh, Scott, is Scott here? Scott,
I hate red cups.
I haven't heard Scott say anything. We need to get Mike some different colored cups.
Oh no, my red kitty. Okay,
I ran across the room to say, I'm here, and you want to do the damn red qualia cup.
Okay, now my red kitty.
I ran across the room for a red qualia cup.
So let's see. I was on Richard Dawkins' forum in 2006 or 2006 or 7, I think it was. And my son bought me a red kitty cup, and I started using it as an example. And I also have an oak tree in my yard called Oak 1 and another one called Oak 2. And I'd use those on 50,000 forum posts, my red kitty qualia cup. So fuck you, Scott. And I still have it. And unless you come to see me and break my cup, I'm going to have it for years. I'm going to have it till I'm 97.
I'm breaking that. I'm finding you and I'm breaking that qualia cup.
Yeah, my red kitty qualia cup. You stay away from it. I got my Glock right here. Don't forget that.
My 4-4 make sure all your children don't grow.
Right next to my red kitty qualia cup is my little Glock 42.
Yeah, he's defending that red cup.
Your little pew pew. Your little pea shooter. Your little pew pew.
Yeah.
Pew 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 pew.
Yeah, it's a little pea shooter. It's a little 9
trying
mil.
to take my red cup.
I haven't. I'm sorry, Otangelo, if I'm not engaging with you too much.
It's not worth it so far. He's just repeating himself. He's gone into his repeating himself phase. We've already explained to you why the word governed in that sentence is problematic.
Yep.
Nobody's going to give you that as a premise, which is sound. Nobody. Not if they're a naturalist. So.
There you go, Scott. My red kitty qualia cup.
There it is. Dum dum dum.
A red kitty qualia cup. There it is. This is wonderful. Hello, kitty.
All hail the red cup.
And here's its defense plan.
Yeah, I haven't seen anything because I'm washing up a couple pots and pans here. But if he wants to try to, I don't know if he's turned into a hard determinist or not. But that first premise sounded like he was appealing to it. So I'd like to see him.
No, he's not. No, he's not.
I don't think he understands what hard determinism
Mike is on the outside looking in.
It doesn't matter anyway because, like, the fact he's begging the question in both premises.
Yep.
Right. If you say governed by natural laws, then you think natural laws, which are abstract, are causal. So I mean, it's just a really bad argument.
So Otangelo, when I open the door to my backyard, I don't let the raccoons run in. I have an open door, but it's not so open that I let the raccoons run in, right? So yeah, I am open-minded, but I'm careful about what I put in there. So that's
skepticism is the doggy door.
Yeah.
Don't go too deep with that Q-tip either.
No, that's a problem. I have to be careful. Oh, guys, can we get out of here now?
That's your channel, man.
Yeah.
Oh, I hate when you guys say that.
It's your goat fuck.
Yeah, it took you 2 hours. It took you 2 hours to get off the air. The other day when we were doing all that talking.
Yeah, it did.
Yeah.
It took you a while. You need to work on that. You need to have 10 live streams. They're just test live streams where you say, "Okay, we're done. Goodbye." And
it's the second stream. This is the second stream in a row that you've had that went on for quite a while, and you never got to the videos that you had ready.
That's because I came in. I am chaos. But he let Dark-Light in, so you can't actually. I can't put that blame on that. I can't put all that on me. Dark-Light came in.
Yeah. Okay. Well, if you say information is non-physical, you're begging the question again of whether abstract ideas are informed in the mind, and if they're informed in the mind, then you're just going back to saying the same thing that you said in your fallacious argument. So you can't say information. You have to name something which is external, which is physical, which is non-physical. Mind. Anyway, Angelo.
Only power. And now I have the power.
Nice.
That pretty much sums it up.
Yeah. Anyway, sorry, Simon. Sorry.
No, you can't use it if you want to use it as part of your argument to show that there is something immaterial in the mind. Pointing to something in the mind and saying it's immaterial doesn't prove that the mind is immaterial.
What is he saying about fucking information? Information is physical.
It's non-physical.
Yeah, no, information is physical. It's always
they have to put a ghosty ghost in everything.
Depends what you mean by it.
Yeah, everything. Like,
what you mean by it.
So transfer some information to me without making it physical, Otangelo. I'd like to see how you transfer information. Like I see your
physical. I'll stop.
And then explain how those beams weren't physical. Like there were no particles in those beams.
Yeah.
And the mind is full of neurons and cells that hold memories, and we can sometimes track what's in people's minds.
I don't believe
you just need a toaster. You just need a toaster. Forget all that stuff.
A mind's toaster?
I think I heard someone say, someone put it rather well today, which is, well, at least what we know is that there is a correlation between brain and mind. That much is definitely true. You can't say that mind is nothing to do with brain.
Well,
otherwise there wouldn't be a correlation.
Brain damage proves that it's all in the brain, right?
Is there a correlation between my stomach and digestion?
Because you can have memories and then you can have brain damage and not have the memories anymore. So if they're still in this cloud, so to speak, why can't you access them anymore?
Well, there's also that idea that mind might be more holistic in the sense of the brain and the body, the way the brain and the body communicate with one another, or the way the signals are picked up and all that, and the way we
that's
determine them and all that shit.
We were covering that the one day, Mike. Remember when we were talking about it? It has to do with all that stuff coming up, the brain stem, and then what happens from there to the connection to the brain is that
and basically you can't draw a dividing line around the brain and say, oh, stuff arrived at my brain, right? Signals arrived at my brain. That would be an artificial boundary, just like the United States would be an artificial boundary. Your entire body, and not only your body, but everything that's happening around you is all your mind. Your mind is this thing, basically, this busyness in physicality that is proceeding through time, and it involves everything around you, your entire body, and your entire body includes your brain. We just do this brain-centric thing, but fucking brains in a vat wouldn't work unless you really had some wild technology, like a computer the size of the fucking universe, to feed it information in order to fool it into thinking it actually had a body in the world.
That sounds cool.
Yeah, that would be cool. Yeah, have a mind-sized universe.
I want to be. I want to be like on Futurama. I want to be a head in a fucking jar.
Yeah,
feeding fish flakes.
Ooh, you like Nixon?
Descriptive information. Okay, you're getting all tangled up in words and languages and ideas and all the shit that goes on.
Descriptive information. What's he talking about?
Yeah,
descriptive information.
I don't know. If you describe it, it's descriptive information in your mind, still immaterial. No, it's in your mind. It's a process happening in your mind. It's all material.
Yeah, I just explained to you, Angelo, if you point to something in the mind and say that's immaterial, you're just begging the question that the mind is immaterial. That's not going to help your argument in any way.
God damn it. Why can't you listen, for fuck's sake?
I think this is a bit above your philosophical pay grade right now.
Hey, no worries.
What I will say is, Philosophers Talking on Consciousness, Amazon book. There you go. This one will do.
Yep. And no worries, after Saturday, there won't be any more atheists, so you won't have to worry.
There's a link, buddy. Try using that link to go and buy something proper.
Like a goddamn brain.
Kafai is here. He always talks about the heroic dose. Kafai, I got a story to tell you.
He's still around?
The brain may be a junction box for consciousness rather than the generator. Brain damage would disprove this. It's like you talk about a heroic dose. I took one.
I got the formal invitation too, Mike, because I commented on one of the videos, and this person, his name's Brad, commented back to me, "Hey, sweetie pie,
let's try it, Brad.
Check out the video. No such thing as an atheist.
Oh man,
that should get you going, since you're such the intellectual, with a heart."
Let's try it, Brad.
Aww.
Here's his definition of information.
We have an open invitation to check this out, so that we're going to do it, because there you go. I got the invite to check it out directly.
That's just abstractive, for fuck's sake, Otangelo. That's
you're also begging the question by saying they're organized.
Yep.
So, like, again, just useless. It's just fucking useless, dude. You can't help but beg the question.
If you put a smudge of pencil on a paper and next to it you leave a blank on the paper, that's information. It goes from smudge to smudge not. And that is the physicality of information. All information is of that nature. And information in your brain, just an abstraction. We humans have twiddled it around in our heads and come up with this bullshit. And how the fuck do I get out of here?
Aren't there topless beaches in Brazil?
Those are abstracted too.
I mean, go.
Hey, Mike, repeat after me.
Go check out a beach. Go check out a beach, my dude.
This has been fun, but it's time to go.
It's time to go. Okay, but I don't have any balls.
Hit the beach.
Okay, guys.
Hang on a minute. Balls are information.
Oh my God, Kafai, don't give us these platitudes. This is just bullshit. Okay, in this case, correlation is causation. Without your brain, you're not going to be around. Trust me on that. Do not kill your brain, Kafai. Anyway, but do take that heroic dose.
Guys,
tried it. He removed it,
but
and
we have to go.
Happened.
We gotta go. We gotta go. Okay,
now hit that orange button. Hit that orange button over there.
Bye.
Goodbye, Otangelo. We love you. Okay, goodbye, cool world. We're ending the stream. Oh, wait a minute. Now I gotta hit another fucking orange button?